That's right! You boys ready for a great raid?
Hello and welcome out to this week's episode of the Gamers Council. I'm your host, WEBDAVE, along with my co-host, the one and only Hargeet Chani. Hargeet, how you doing, buddy?
All right, I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing good. I'm actually a little freaking tired. I've been working all weekend long, and I'm on call.
Oh, it sucks. Right, well, now. Happy Easter to all those who didn't have to work all weekend.
Exactly. Little Q-tip thing to hold my eyes open. Yeah, like Clockwork Orange. That's what I need right now. But I'm good. We have over 60 people joining us live already, and joining us tonight is also the one and only Fuzzy Belvedere. Fuzzy, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here with you guys. Man, it's been a pretty good news cycle for Xbox as of recent, and we got the showcase to look forward to, some updated info on, what is it, like State of Decay and even Forza. So yeah, I'm pretty good. Glad to be here with you guys tonight. So we got a lot to talk about.
We do. We're glad to have you too, especially when we get into a little bit of Forza talk here in just a little bit. There's a lot of good stuff going on. There's a little bit of salt to be had tonight too. Oh yeah, and Chrispy Bomb should be joining us here in just a little bit. He's finishing up some Easter family things, and he definitely wants to try and join us tonight because he's a really big gearhead, if you know what I mean. So yeah, so we'll see if he's going to be able to make it tonight, but hopefully he will. I know we do have one super chat there, Hargeet, if you wanted to read that one.
Absolutely. We got Adidas, $2 out with daughter, catch replay, Hargeet. Olives, and we'll get you some olives. Let's do this one. That's nice.
There you go. That's a nice one. It's a nice olives. There we go.
Yes.
We like it. We like it a lot. All right. Well, to get things warmed up tonight, because we do have a lot of topics. It is Easter Sunday, so there may be some people here, maybe not so many, depending on what's doing with your family. I know, like my family's at a family thing right now. I'm like, oh, look at my podcast. Bring me some food. I'm terrible, I know, but I had to work all day, man. I've been, when you're on call, like a 48-hour swing, and you get like a little sleep, and you're like, oh, this is great, and all of a sudden you get a phone call, and you're like, whoa, and you got to take care of stuff. So it is what it is, and you try and go back to sleep, and then you end up playing 3 hours of Arc Raiders. But that's the way things go sometimes. But I did level up some more Arc Raiders. I love it. Anyway, I'm addicted. I can't help it. Just can't help it. Also, a big shout out and thank you to FARK QUE. FARK QUE. I know he's hanging out in the chat with us, and he definitely was nice enough to make the amazing thumbnail that we have. I'll give you a little sample of it again. And he did, which was really cool. Really cool. Hargeet, you're not that menacing. I tell you, you're such a nice guy. And they're like, "Arr." Is that your game face? Is that what that is? That's it. That's it. Got his game face on. All I know is that when we do get to do some co-op playing, we're gonna have some fun. That's for sure. Guys, let's kind of start things off with the what have you been playing type thing? Because let me throw that up here on the screen. Kapow. And we'll start off with Fuzzy. So if anything eventually, I know you've been busy on some other things, and you can talk about that too, because I know it's some pretty exciting stuff that you've been working on. But please let everybody know what you're watching, what you're playing, what and maybe what's up with you. What have you been up to?
Oh man, I haven't had as much time to game, but I always get my dailies done for Forza Horizon 5. They finally got rid of that backstage pass thing where the community had to vote on the car, and it's like the community would always vote against the cars I didn't have. So I'm kind of glad they got away from that and everything. So I finally got, like, I guess the last 12 cars that I didn't have in the game, because when I took a break for that to play Starfield or something, I missed out on some cars, and just made it easier to get those in the collection. But outside of that, I've been playing a little bit of I think it's called Mini Shooter, which is like a Game Pass darling that works well on a handheld type of deal. Kind of reminds me of not R-Type, but it's more of like a top-down little space shooter kind of thing. And I'm trying not to get lost because the map has all kinds of like caves and pockets and shortcuts between the trees and things like that. So getting a little bit of gamer score out of that as well. But other than that, the reason why I haven't had as much time to game, finally, me and my wife, Ferocious Fee, if you watch the horror podcast that we have, we finally have filmed our first short. Now, it might be a little bit before I'll be able to publish it, but we finally were able to shoot that yesterday. It was like a 5 or 6 hour process, and from the parking lot to where the actual film location was a little bit further than originally anticipated, but everybody that was a part of the cast was good sports about it, even through the couple of rain storms that we had and stuff. But everything went great. Everybody was great to work with, and hopefully you'll get to see some more of it soon. I think Fee is posting like the listing of the cast, and then if I can put everything together to submit it for New Jersey HorrorCon, you guys will be able to see it on YouTube hopefully by this time next week. So fingers crossed. Although I'm kind of new at this as far as the whole short movie editing, so yeah, we'll see how fast I can get this turned around. But man,
I'm excited to see it, man. I'm excited for that for sure. I have done a lot of indie projects. Let me say this. I've done like some behind the scenes vivography. Is that the word for it? Yeah, can't talk today. Of a lot of indie films and things like that. Some local stuff. It's kind of cool because some of it's already gotten big and picked up. In fact, one of the ones that one of the local ones just actually got the rights to his horror movie that he did, have now gotten picked up by Blumhouse, which is pretty good to have Blumhouse pick it up, and they're like, hey, cool, so they're going to do the sequel to it, so that's kind of cool. But one of the little shorts I did a few years back, and it's actually on this channel. I've got it there handy on the description. I think it's a little further down the list, but it was a short called Ebola, and it's actually like basically zombies take over a bowling thing. It's hilariously funny. So yeah, and it's got some pretty good little gags and stuff in it, and some pretty good makeup and stuff too. It was fun to do, and I shot the whole behind it. It was funny. The behind the scenes that we put together of the making of it is 3 times longer than the actual short itself. It's like, God, how do we do that? But hey, it was still fun to do. But yeah, so anyway, oh look, Why So Serious is here.
Why so serious?
Well, I'll tell you why so serious. We're serious about gaming. That's what we're serious about. Hargeet Chani, please tell me, what have you been up to? What have you been playing? What have you been doing, my friend?
Yeah, so I finished up Ragnarok, and then I started up Simon the Sorcerer Origins and finished that up. So it's 2 games I get to play.
Exactly, and you like that you're the completist type thing. If you can do it, you like to clean up your stuff that's in Game Pass too, right?
No, I don't. Well, yes, yeah. I do like to play all the games that are available in Game Pass. That well, at least try them out. If it's a value to me, though, if I like the game, I'll continue playing it.
Yeah. There you go.
But yeah, I do like to get Simon the Sorcerer, though. I don't think it was in Game Pass. I just
I don't think that was.
So.
What was that on Steam?
So, no, that was on Xbox.
Xbox, cool. All right, well, I'm gonna have to check that out myself. It does not sound familiar to me, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I think it was on a sale at some point. I'm like, okay, this looks cool. I'll buy that.
Cool. Let me do a quick little testing here. We're supposed to have TTS working tonight because the last couple of weeks we've had some issues. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Let's see if you guys can hear the test here and see if that works.
This is a test message.
Yeah, we heard that.
Okay, so you heard it. All right, now whether it actually triggers like it's supposed to, that's a different story. But we'll hopefully that it will. So if Fuzzy, if you do hear that start yapping, just kind of pause for a couple seconds to let it get out of its way. But if you can, it's no big deal. No big deal. But yeah, we do have I see Day Rizzy's in the chat as well too. What's up, buddy? There you go. We definitely have a lot of cool emojis that are in the chat. If you want to subscribe, it's only $1 to subscribe to the channel, or if you get a gifted membership, that's awesome too. We end up giving a lot of those away. I may give some away here in just a little bit myself. With that, there are all kinds of emojis, including there is the fuzzy Belvedere emoji, and there is also the Chrispy bomb emoji, which Chrispy should be here, and of course, me and Hargeet are in there a couple of times, as well as a lot of other members of the community. All know it's Alex. Yeah, there you go. I got to make a Sigs one, man. Sigs and Cereal. I don't know if you guys have ever seen him yet. Yeah, he is awesome. I love he goes in depth and picks apart the the salt, and there's so much salt to mine, as it were. Hargeet, where would you like to start tonight, my friend? We have 114 people here watching us live. Did you want to start with the article you were talking about with Microsoft?
Yeah, so we have the Last of Us part as well, right? And then that Halo thing, right? So we can talk about both of those.
Here's what I found, and then if there's the one about the Last of Us, I don't. Oh, yes. Okay. Yes, I do have that. I'm sorry. You're talking about the multiplayer, right? And
yes.
And what happened to it? 80% finished.
Yeah.
And yeah. Okay. Yes, I do have that one. All right. Let me pull that one
but
up.
If you have this one, we can always bring up that article and start with that, and then move to the
well, let's go ahead and start with this one, and then I'll bring up the other one while we're talking about that.
Do you want to bring up the article about because this I think is just a response, correct? Former art director. Yeah, this is the response. But there is an article from Windows Central, right, that goes over the actual allegations, which I have in private chat. I don't know if you saw that.
I got you. Let me pull that because I thought that was it. Oh, my bad. Okay, all right. Let's share the screen instead.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. So if we scroll down a bit and we can start talking about. All right. So so apparently one of the former employees of Halo Studios, or I guess 343 at the time, whatever it was, an art director, his NDA sort of, or whatever you want to call it, basically like the silencing after you leave thing kind of expired, right? So he wasn't able to talk about anything until a year later, and that's now, or whatever time frame it was, April now, that he was able to talk about it. So he started telling us like what happened. He's alleging that some serious stuff was happening there, where there's some unethical, possibly unlawful, things going on with upper management and with how they're treating certain people over there. And he makes some pretty interesting allegations. Look, ultimately this is going to be an interesting he said, she said. He went to HR with all this. They dismissed it as saying it wasn't in their purview, that this was something that was outside of their purview. So I don't know what the specific allegations were in this arena, because it's hard to tell in specific terms. I mean, it could be things like, I want it to look like this, and my boss said no, and I hate my boss. And it's like, well, I don't know what the thing is, right? So,
right.
And it could be that like they wanted to go a direction, and certain people in upper management were like, no, our standard is this is what we're going to do, and that is perceived to be collusive and annoying. It may be totally what he's saying. I have no idea, right? So it's very hard to understand, but the accusations here are pretty big. But I'm sure there's documentation on the Microsoft side to keep them clear. But yeah, I don't necessarily like hearing it. It's not like this is the first time. That's the problem, right?
Right.
It's a continuous pattern of something's wrong with this studio, and you keep hearing it, and it's like, well, okay, onesie twosie, you have somebody who has bad blood. Okay, it happens.
Celebrates 25 months of membership.
Did you guys hear that?
Nice. Yep, we did.
It worked. And
yes,
thank you so much, Ford. Thank you.
And then but if it keeps happening, right? You keep hearing things, and you like Joe Staten leaves. You're like, well, why would he leave? Like, what's going on with this place that's a thing, right? And like, there's just something going on, right? So you can't just totally dismiss it. But to what level? I don't know. And how do you fix it? Right? They just changed leadership, right? They went to Pierre. Maybe things are getting better. Maybe they're not. I don't know, right? So this is just kind of part and parcel of like what we keep hearing for this studio, right? And you don't really hear that with the other ones. There's onesie twosie issues everywhere. That happens. Fair enough, right? And they clean it up, fine. But this one, just repeated problems, repeated like management issues. It's like, okay, something's up, right? And I don't know if they've resolved it by going to Pierre. I don't know. I just don't know, right? And unfortunately, this is not like something that happened now. This is something that happened a while ago, and now they get to talk about it, and so it's back in the limelight, right? So, this is a tough one to figure out. We can go to the other one where they kind of responded, but it's a very like corporate PR response. There's just not much there, so it's hard to tell like where this is, but like harassment campaigns is a pretty like a pretty substantial freaking thing to say. So, and if that's happening, there might be illegality to the point of unlawful acts. And this could go beyond just an internal thing. And you could take a harassment thing all the way to the government and say, I was harassed. Here's my actual documentation of it. Right. And that could be a problem. Right. And like,
right.
I'm assuming it's not to that level, but I don't know. Right. But again, we just keep hearing it with the same studio. I'm hoping that Pierre came in and like cleaned a lot of this out. Maybe that's the case. I don't know where they are. It's disappointing because you hear like from a Microsoft perspective, it's one of the best places to work. And then you hear this, you're like, well, why not here? What happened here? What was the disconnect? Right. And so, there's something obviously wrong. If this hasn't been resolved, then it should get resolved. And maybe this is something, it is what it is. But Asha came in as the head of this whole entire organization, and it's your part of the world. You need to go figure out what the heck's going on and make sure that this stuff isn't still a problem, right? And if that means changing sort of leadership style or whatever that needs to happen, right? It needs to happen, right? Like the morale of that this isn't like a little side thing. It's Halo. And you have to like own that that's your franchise that everybody expects to see as part of Xbox. And that studio that's making that game has these problems, and that's not cool, right? You like problems exist everywhere. That's fair. There are also issues across many other studios, across other publishers. That's also fair, right? But like Microsoft was supposed to be the one that has like the best place to work. Okay, well, prove it. Like seriously, prove it. Like if you have this kind of thing coming up over and over and over again with once, like there's something wrong. It feels like there's something off. I have no proof of this. It's hard to substantiate with innuendo.
Right.
But again, if you just keep hearing it, it's like, okay, something's off. So to me, this seems like there's some substance here that needs to be respected. And like Microsoft needs to have a better response than just this.
Can you read the paragraph, the full like his this is kind of synopsis of what was kind of thrown in?
Yeah. So former Halo Studios art director Glenn Israel has taken to LinkedIn, alleging serious misconduct involving Halo Studios and Microsoft. In his claims, Israel says senior representatives engaged in unethical and or unlawful acts, including blacklisting, fraud, favoritism, and cronyism, the act of appointing friends, as well as multiple harassment campaigns aimed at forcing out unwanted employees.
Okay.
So there's something crazy there. Okay. And so I don't know. And then you got the response.
Yep.
Microsoft has issued a statement on the claims of a former Halo art director who had some pretty damning allegations against 343 Halo Studios and Microsoft HR. Makes you wonder what else is going on. Unfortunate situation, and sadly, not the first time I've heard accusations like this. Layoff rounds used to remove staff. XYZ manager didn't personally like, etc. I mean, but to be fair, that is industry norm, right? If there are people you don't want in a company, layoffs is an interesting way to say, well, I don't want them anyways. Let's get rid of them. That happens all the time. So I also have to take the corporate side of it. Is like that happens, and I don't know if that's really illegal or wrong. It just is what it is. If you're not jiving, if you're causing more headaches, sometimes the best thing to do is just lay them off, right?
Yep.
You fire them or lay them off. But a layoff is a very convenient way to do that. Because then there's no like targeting. It's just like, sorry, this area went away. You're going with it. And that might just be one way they do it. And they might put you in an area to make that happen. It happens. And I welcome to the real world. It is what it is. Right. So, yeah. Do you want to go into this one as well? Let's see. For those unaware, Glenn.
Yeah.
Yes. For those unaware, Glenn joined Bungie back in 2008 to work on Halo 3 ODST, also working on Halo Reach before joining 343 Industries when it was formed. There's a lot to unpack across Israel's two-part LinkedIn post, so I will outline all the key claims made. This comes around 5 months after his departure, which has already I don't know what I kind of missed the rest of it. But anyways, okay. And claims incidents took place between January 2024 and June 2025, with his departure following in October 2025. He states he either witnessed or was directly subjected to alleged misconduct during this period involving senior Halo Studios representatives. Alongside the allegations of unethical and or unlawful acts, he filed complaints with Microsoft HR in June 2025. He claims that after submitting documented complaints, a global employee relations representative threatened retaliation on first contact and said further investigations would be shut down. He also alleges that complaints escalated internally, were later reported as closed, despite being returned as out of scope. So
it looks like they were trying to just close it down and sweep it under the rug, some parts of it, or at least not necessarily Microsoft, but somebody maybe that was in the mix, upper management, is like maybe it would have led to them getting in trouble. So they probably like try and quash it to get it down. I'm not saying it's a good thing. It's not a good thing. It's a bad thing for sure. But like Hargeet said, it's a lot of stuff happens in business. I mean, a lot of businesses do good or bad things. I work for a lot of companies myself, and some companies were like, "Oh, they're great," and other companies are like, everybody has their bad things about them, I should say. So, Fuzzy, your thoughts on this, and then we'll get a little more in depth on Hargeet's response.
Yeah, as someone that's worked in the at-will state. There's certain protections, but not many, and it usually favors the employer over the employee. Like Hargeet said, layoffs are a good way to kind of get rid of those that you haven't been able to force out the door, whether it's through scheduling, pay cuts, things like that. It's another way of kindly nudging them out the doorway without, making a big fight for unemployment or severance and things like that. But I've heard whispers throughout the years, mainly around this particular individual. I don't think he jived well with Bonnie and that crew. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was one of the remnants from Bungie of the group that stayed. And that old guard didn't get along well with the new guard, even though Bonnie's more of the old guard to some extent. But there was some minor aggression stuff that was supposedly back and forth. Like, he wasn't the nicest person to work with, but you don't have to be nice, or it's a job. You don't have to make friends there. But then again, if your bosses are pissed off at you, but you're doing good work, it might be one of those things where, well, finally they've had enough. He's deemed replaceable. Let's just lay him off, kind of thing. I don't want to take sides in any fashion, because I know that there have been other bad things that have gone behind the scenes and stuff.
Changing the gaming industry.
Sorry, Fuzzy. I don't know if you can hear it very loud. It's I might have to maybe adjust it too. Sorry about that. Hargit, can you read that one again real quick so we can get that out of the way?
Sure. P-Lump, member for 15 months. No. Stop the damn madness. Play my damn theme song. Xbox is leading the way, innovating shit and changing the game and industry.
Well, yeah, that's what they are. Well, here's your theme song.
PlayStation is dead. You heard it here first. It outlasted a dying company.
Never in 1 million years, I would have imagined.
Bruh.
While we're at that, Lotus Esprit gifts 5 WebDave memberships. Thank you so much, Lotus.
Nice.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Yes, that was nice. So Dave Reezy says PlayStation is dead. You heard it here first. I've outlasted a dying company. Obama, never in a million years would I have imagined.
Hand up there.
Yeah, there we go. So, yep. We are working on. I'm sorry about that, Fuzzy. We're so sorry. The other program, Hargit, the program to be able to deposit, that I haven't downloaded yet for the new one. Couldn't get it to work on the other one, so I still got to do that. Sorry.
Yep.
So it could be an interesting show. Hang on, we got one more little thing to.
P-Lump gifts 5 WebDave memberships. Thanks, P-Lump.
Hey, thank you, Pila. Thank you so much. We do greatly appreciate that. Yep, that is awesome. Membership from the P-Lump. Yeah. Okay. So, have you totally lost your train of thought, Fuzzy?
No,
are you ready to jump back in? Okay.
I think for the most part, it is going to be like he said, she said kind of situation. For Israel, I think his best bet is either start his own studio or find a similar studio that he'll be able to flourish in. I mean, he could, bring about a legal case against Microsoft, or at least try to. But I think in the end result, before really dragging everybody into the mud, just try and move on. And probably considering his talent for stuff, I would say if he can start his own studio or partner with somebody that's starting a studio, that might be his best course of action. But there's been tons of whispers as far as some bad stuff going on. But I think since Pierre has come in, I think it's kind of settled down. But then again, I don't think a lot of the old guard got along with him either. So we'll see if any more of that stuff continues. So we'll see.
I got you. Well, it is definitely interesting. Hargit, you got any more thoughts on this?
I mean, I kind of went over enough of it. I don't know if we need to linger too much. I mean, we're not going to really resolve this unless they tell us more. I don't know what Israel is allowed to tell us. So I don't know. We're going to probably just stick with this for now. I hope they do something to kind of clean things, but that's, good luck to the team out there, and the studio people out, and I think they're all mostly in Redmond, but yeah, hopefully the situation's gotten better, not worse. But again, they were in a bad situation to begin with. Remember,
At Music 72 celebrates 12 months of membership.
Oh,
nice.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Music. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So we had, was it Connie Booth? What was her name? Was it Connie? I think, right? That she was the one running it. I think that was her name. But the person who was running Halo 343 Industries.
Yeah. I can't think of her name.
Was it Connie something? It was Connie something, right? Connie, whatever.
I think it was Bonnie
Ross. Bonnie Ross.
Yeah, that's it.
Bonnie Ross. So if the situation was great then they wouldn't have had to change, right? So I don't know if the situation got worse after that. It seems like it's in that time frame where Pierre took over, right? That seems to be kind of what the complaint is, I think, right? Bonnie left, and so maybe there was more of a relationship with Bonnie and and this person, right? And maybe that changed, and now comes in Pierre, and he has his own set of people he's comfortable with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that causes more of a a headbutting issue, right? It is what it is. These things happen, right? These things happen, right? And so I don't know how that's working. Should I trust Pierre would be doing a better job or worse? I don't know, right? They also haven't done much as far as like under Pierre. We've kind of just said, oh, we're shutting down the Halo Infinite thing and moving to this new model for using UE5, and we're going to have a remake of Combat Evolved. Okay, cool. They haven't delivered that yet. When they deliver that, we'll see what that does, right? And we'll see what the roadmap is. What's next for Halo, right? So is it working? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't, right? And there could be vastly different, management styles when it comes to Pierre versus Bonnie. Bonnie might have been hands off, saying, "Go ahead, I will empower you," right?
Mm-hmm.
And Pierre's like, "That shit didn't work. I'm telling you what to do. Go do it."
Right.
Like seriously, it just literally could just be that. It's like micromanage. I will tell. This is what I want. I don't care what you want. This is what I want. Get it done, right? And if that's the difference, and that in your headbutting, they may not like it, and then that's fine. Like that's fine, and that might be why HR says, "Yeah, that's just management style. We can't change that." Right? If you don't like it, you're welcome to leave, right? Because that ultimately that's just the way it is. The manager's the manager. That's who we've assigned. That's how they manage. We're not changing that person. That's the person that was assigned to do this job, right? And if that is the case, they are luck. It is what it is, right? Unfortunately, that happens.
Yep.
Right. So that might be the root of this, is that they're used to one style and suddenly it flipped to something very, very different. And you kind of get that feeling from Pierre, right? He is a lot more like, this is the way it is, right? I am telling you what to do. We need to get it done, right? I kind of get that feeling from him. He's not a no-nonsense dude, right? And that can come out that way, right? So does that also mean he might be colluding with people? No, he probably has a bunch of guys that have worked, guys or gals, who have worked with him that got shit done. And they're like, I want those people in these spots because I know I can trust them to get it done, right? Again, that shit happens. And it's just the way it is. It's human nature to do those kind of things. So I don't know how. So this is why it's tough to say it really is or isn't a problem, right? And when HR gets involved, it's a lot of times, let's be fair, HR is looking out for the company and not for you. That is a fair assessment, unfortunately, right? However, they have some legal guidelines they do have to meet. So if there are some things that are going on beyond the norms, they do have to do something about it, right? So it is all very interesting, but yeah, I just hope better days for the people working there. That's basically all I can really say, because we don't have any control over this. It's sad, but hey, if that's what is needed to get Halo back to where it needs to be, maybe that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So it's lame, but I don't know.
Gonna super check.
Shout out to the panel and the chat.
Thank you, P-Lump. P-Lump using our boy Trump.
Oh my God.
That's priceless.
Oh boy.
It does work. And definitely wanted to say music that you don't owe anybody an apology. That we are working on getting the thing set up to where you can bank all those. So in other words, they'll all come in and they'll collect and save and they'll hold, and then we can play them when we want to play them instead of them just randomly talking over everybody. So that's what I had it on the other one. And as soon as I got it set up on my other computer, I should say, it messed up everything. And then for like 2 weeks, we couldn't have any of this. So trying to figure it out the right way this time. Hopefully it'll get fixed, but give me another week to get it to get it. So there could be some random stuff tonight. I do apologize to our guests and to everybody that it does happen, but it is unfortunately the way it is. We have 182 people here watching us live. Thank you all so much for joining us. We do greatly appreciate you. But dude, that's there's a lot of great people here in the chat, man. There's a lot of members of the community that are jumping on tonight. And yes, it is Easter Sunday. We do our show every single day of the year.
You didn't see that coming down the pipeline.
I didn't see it coming. P-Lump didn't see it coming. Nope.
So WebDave, what are your thoughts on this? Do you have any thoughts on Halo?
Well, I'm excited for Halo. the new one. I think it's going to be great. And to me, there's another one coming.
State of Decay 3, we're bringing it to an end. It's going to be a beautiful state of decay. Some say there's never been better.
Oh, you guys are awesome. I love it. See, Hargeet, this is what it was there for, right? To have a little fun with this. That we can catch them ahead of time so we can pause and hear them. That's too funny. Great job. I think, to be honest, this is, and then I'm not saying it's a non-story, but it's really a non-story in the sense that it's business things happen and people get, whatever, and calling out a studio. I guarantee you could say probably the same thing just about any other studio out there. I think the reason this has even got any traction at all right now is because Sony's down bad and they have nothing to talk about, and they're trying to throw anything they can. They're waiting for Microsoft to step on a rake, and it hasn't happened in a few weeks. And I think Asha is really turning things around, and a lot of fanboys are panicking. I really think that's what it is. Oh goodness, we have a couple coming in.
My Bonnie lies over the ocean. My Bonnie lies over the sea. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. Oh, bring back my Bonnie to me.
Thank you, Lotus. That was classic.
Remember, lock the fuck in with gears.
Exactly. Oh, we're going to cover all that tonight too, my friend. We surely are. Hargeet, we released the beast. And just so you know, if you want to make your own creative super chat with TTS, I'll throw it up. It's actually in the description below. But if you want to, here is we'll put it right beside Fuzzy's head there. So there is the QR code. If you use your phone, you can scan that code, and that gets you directly to our TTS where we have it set up and what we have available. Because there's different tiers to TTS. We just started it off, so we don't have like the big max full tiers. We have our own voices and stuff. We don't have that yet. But this is what you can use or listed on there. Because like what's available, either sound effects or voices you can use, which you've heard some of the creative ones people have used already. So just so you know, and if you don't pick a voice, it automatically defaults to the standard voice. So I think it's Brian or something, or I can't remember which one it is, but anyway, so that's cool. But yeah. Thank you all again for joining us tonight. This is awesome. And we're just really getting started. There's so much stuff to talk about. Some interesting comments there, Hargeet. You can bring up anything you want, Oh, here comes another one.
Yeah, well,
I agree with W. On Sony's side, they are clutching at anything for some good news, pretending PC ports are gone. They don't even have announced hardware yet.
That is true. And we have some stories to get into some of that interesting ways they've changed some of the wording on that.
This is what I thought was funny, especially given the picture that we saw. So it's because of the TTS, obviously, right? But
yeah. Yep. You're the next. Don't know that. Well, I don't know about that, but we do appreciate that for sure. And in fact, in ode to Alex, we do have him as a emoji in our chat, so you can use the Alex emoji as well. Oh, here we got another one. Pete, I'm going to burn this up.
If P-Lump and Encore play his damn theme song and watch the ponies hate, and while Xbox go to infinity and beyond, they not like us.
P-Lump, they're not like us. No, they are not like us. Oh, let's see if I can go. Here we go. All right, one more. Last time, P-Lump. Last time tonight.
They see me rolling.
Watch him rolling, watch him go, watch him rolling, watch him go. He'd be rolling down the street, he'd be rolling to the beat.
There we go. All right. Feel better? I feel pretty good about it, Hargeet. How about you? Feeling good? I feel good. That's what I'm thinking.
All right.
There.
Shall we go to the Sony?
Yes. I do have Andy to go. Yeah. So this is interesting because people were like, Sony's first party. Dude, they were so close to this, and we're gonna play the actual actually play his clip, his interview here. I'll let you read the top part of it, and then I'll play the clip. It's about 3 minutes long, but it's worth it. Pete Lump.
This shit is hilarious.
It is, Pete Lump. Thank you again. All right, did you want to read that, Hargeet?
Sure. All right. The Last of Us multiplayer director Vineet Agarwal talking about why the game was canceled. Almost 80% completion, and game was going very well. Took over 7 years of development. Found out the game was canceled 24 hours before the public did. Ugh. Money and funding for the game plummeted after the pandemic ended. A decision had to be made between the game and Neil Druckmann's directed Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet. Cancellation was a devastating moment and soul-crushing for him.
Yeah. And there we go.
So I got to direct my own game. I was working on The Last of Us multiplayer, so like a standalone Last of Us multiplayer game. And I've worked on that game for nearly 7 years. So I'd worked on it from 2017 to 2016 roughly to 2023. Unfortunately, the game got canceled. So what happened was during COVID, the game industry saw a huge growth because everyone was at home. So in 2020, money was flooding into the game industry because people are playing a lot more games all of a sudden because they're at home. What else?
They had
to
an
do?
excuse. They were told them you can't do anything else.
Not just that, online games specifically saw a huge boost because people wanted to play with their friends. They couldn't see their friends, so they had to play online with their friends. So online games got a huge boon. So Sony, along with all the other, Sony is the owner of Naughty Dog. So Naughty Dog is a first-party company of Sony. Mm-hmm. So Sony decided to put a lot of money into online gaming, like everyone else was. And so that's part of why The Last of Us multiplayer got funding, and we got off the ground, and we made a lot of progress. And the game was doing really, really well internally. We developed it almost to 80% completion. It was very, very close to done. But then all the forces that pushed the game industry in 2020 were the reasons it started declining in 2022, 2023. So as people returned to the office, suddenly people didn't have as much time to play games. You know, that spending reduced. The economy also went down. And so all that money that flooded into the game industry was not going to be able to sustain because money was getting pulled out. They had to also kind of collapse the spending they'd spent. Like they overspent basically. Mm-hmm. They were overzealous. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so one of the casualties of that was this game I was directing. Basically, at one point, a decision had to be made. Okay, make this game or make the next game that Neil Druckmann was directing, the president of the company. And so kind of naturally, you can understand what happened there. Mm-hmm. They had to pick the game that was kind of the sole bread and butter of the studio, rather than this experimental game that I was working on that I believe was going to be really big, but unfortunately couldn't see the light of day. And that was a devastating moment for me because I spent 7 years working on that game, and it was soul crushing. I remember honestly finding out that I was the director of the game, and to find out that I was getting canceled 24 hours before it was announced to the public. That's how I found out about the game getting canceled. Mm-hmm. And it was just unfortunate. And they have to do that because they have to control the messaging. And
did that hurt you more than being walked out of the office with your box?
10 times more. Because this is something
I
really cared about.
Yeah, you had so much invested in 7 years of investment.
And you remember I was telling you,
Remember
I was telling you that what inspired me about the games of the 90s was they came from a core inspiration of something from outside of games. I had a core inspiration for this game that drove what happened in the game.
Yeah. So, I mean, he was that close.
Yeah, first let's talk about this. Get talked over, but Luke, expansion pass, $2. Can't wait to see you guys. Yes, we'll see you out there.
That's right. We will definitely see you there, my friend. We're excited.
All three of us, right? I think Fuzzy, you're coming as well, right?
Fuzzy's coming. Yeah,
so,
yeah.
All three of us.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be awesome. I just need to know if Luke's gonna wear his his Fallout Boy outfit again.
That was awesome.
That was awesome, and he looked dead up like the Fallout Boy. It was cool. In fact, yeah. Let's get Fallout emojis in the chat for Luke, and because they are in there. Oh, there we go. Fallout Boy in the chat for Luke. Or W's in the chat if you don't have the emoji, you can put W's in the chat. That damn outfit, the outfit didn't fit then, and it can't fit it now. Oh my goodness, my goodness. Yeah, it's gonna be great, guys. It's gonna be great. FanFest is gonna be amazing. We're actually gonna be talking about that soon. I promise. But Hargey, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, seriously, is this that's crazy?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know if there's more to how they figured out it wasn't gonna work, and why PlayStation didn't want to fund one of their bigger studios to just do 2 games, because I thought they did that with Sony Santa Monica, right? They had like they had that Sons of Sparta, they had Ragnarok, and they have another game, if I understand correctly, that Corey's still working on, correct? So if that studio can get multiple streams, why Insomniac has been working on multiple games, right? So like, why is it not possible to allow them to just work on multiple games if you wanted to go in this direction? It just, again, it seems like management wise, upper management of PlayStation and Sony just didn't understand what they were doing as far as games as a service. That's an investment, and you have to make the investment, and you have to say, okay, this team's going to be spending a lot of money to build out something with content, and then have a content pipeline that's going to continue to keep doing this. And I guess they didn't realize they had to do that. I like, that seems very weird. So I don't know why that caught them off guard. Like, wouldn't you know that you're doing that? Like, it seems like they just had the old style mentality of, I deliver my single player game and it's done, and then I move on to the next single player game. It's like, multiplayer doesn't work that way. So what lesson exactly did you learn when Jim Ryan was saying we're going to learn the lesson from all the failed multiplayer games? What lesson did you learn? You didn't even understand how the basic mechanics of it work. It's like, dude, that's just such a fail. 70 years they spent. 7 years making a game, and they didn't even bother to bring it out, and that's just so sad.
Yeah.
And that, to me, it's a mix of potentially this person's failure, but also upper management at Sony and PlayStation to not recognize this is how this works. If you're really going to go into games as a service, that's the investment, and you should have like said after 4 years, hey, let's throw out a test. Let's see if it even resonates. Let's see what happens with this game, instead of just continuing to develop. But like, this has kind of been their problem with their entire mentality, right? And that is how you end up with a massive equivalent like this, which took another like umpteen years to finish. And then when it came out, nobody wanted it. And like, it's $500 million just wasted. Like, it's stupid. I don't know how much the investment was on this, how many people were working on it. So, it's sad to hear, but like, this just reeks of like not knowing how to do a games as a service. And that's why they went and bought Bungie. And I'm going to guess Bungie went in and said, you're doing what now? You expect to make what off of this? Okay. Like, you understand you need to spend like a lot more, right? And like, this team needs to expand, and, oh, you want to do the single player thing? That's cool. That team needs to keep doing that. And you guys need to go hire like, we're not hiring more people. So it's like, you didn't realize this? Okay, whatever. I don't know. But like, look, that era is hopefully like done. But unfortunately, what we keep hearing is they want to keep trying that. And what I don't see is them buying studios to make single player stuff. They're closing those down. So that's kind of where they are. I don't like, whatever. I don't know what's going on with PlayStation. I've given up on them. They don't really make that many games that I would even care. They're saying they're not going to put their games on PC. Good. Like, F off. I don't even care anymore. Like, you're just garbage to me. But that's kind of where they are. This is what they did. Like, I would have expected after 7 years, you at least give it a chance. Like, well, why don't you, like, what more do you need? And maybe just at least put it out there, get some of your money back, right? Somebody would buy that thing, right? Nope, just canceled it. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it's disappointing, but yeah, and I don't know what happened to those staff. Is that staff now just working on Intergalactic? Because they were working on a multiplayer game. Are they really suited to that? I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of the mystery as to what what they're doing. I mean, or maybe they're just gone or absorbed. Fuzzy, your thoughts? Spending 7 years on it and then just canceling it.
Oh, I got so many thoughts on this, and I was vocal when the rumors were, spreading about like Bungie being the ones that kind of poo-pooed on it. And I was like, oh, so, Bungie was sabotaging them because the game was better than what they had in the oven, kind of thing. But I don't know if anybody remembers. There was a game called The Day Before. Now, granted, when it released, it was hot garbage kind of deal, but the initial trailer looked like something like a cross between The Division and The Last of Us. And it was the most wishlisted game on Steam and on console, and people were all abuzz about it until they started finding out some of the studios, inconsistencies, let's just say. That's all they had to make. You would think somebody like Naughty Dog would look at that, see all the buzz about it, and see that it's kind of copying some of their, atmosphere and just run with that. If the game was 80% done, I guarantee you, if they had just released it at that, it would have done 10 times better than what Marathon and Concord combined, or any of the other, aside from the Spider-Man one, any other games as a service game that Sony's going to release. And I don't count Helldivers as part of that, because that was, it's a third party that made it for them. It's their own IP. But aside from that, I guarantee you Factions at 80% would have done better than all the other things that they were working on its day one. And they could have just spent the time listening to the community, accepting feedback, and building the game from that. And it would probably earn them that games as a service, where they wouldn't have to worry about the revenue coming in for Naughty Dog to put towards other projects and things. The only thing that they should have done, considering, is either take the group from Concord and make that the, content team for that game. It's like, well, your game didn't do well, so let's, instead of closing you, we'll just shift you back over to Factions or something along those lines. That would have made so much better sense, at least in my opinion. Now, I'm no CEO or anything along those lines, but the amount of money that they poured into Concord, I think that was what, 300 or 400 million in the development for almost 8 years. And then was it like 200 or 300 million that they paid for the studio? And that's nearly $1 billion in the toilet. And then how much did they put into Factions just before, 24 hours before its announcement, or whatever the case is? It's like, yeah, we're getting ready to announce it. No, you're not. You're going to shut this stuff down. Shut it down now. Tell everybody they're gone. Kind of that upper management definitely is out of touch with what they should have been doing when it came to this games as a service. I get it. Jim Ryan had, was it 10 or 12 games that he, greenlit?
12.
About, I would say 2 or 3 were well worthwhile if you include Helldivers in there. But the Spider-Man game, yes, I know some people were like, oh, it'd be just boring swinging throughout the city, but they could have made money off of skins and things like that, and people would have probably ate it up. It may have gotten tired after a year or two, but if you introduce more and more Marvel characters, if you could get licensing behind that, I think that would still have some legs to it. But as far as Factions, a zombie apocalypse game, or what do they call them? The not creepers. I forget the actual name they call them in there, but it's like that type of game. I think would have had legs more so than that Day Before game that was kind of like a fake game or whatever. And the fact that there's still people, even though I'm not one of them, there's still people asking the Division to put zombies in it for whatever reason. There's a group that would play that game more so than Marathon, much more so than Concord, or even that I guess you could say Horizon multiplayer game that they're making look kind of like Fortnite, which I don't understand that whole deal, but this is just a mess. And it bugs me that the gaming media, every time they'll talk about how Xbox is mismanaging studios. Where's your stories on mismanagement for Naughty Dog? Like, is that not mismanagement? I mean, Bungie's a whole nother story, and we'll see when they finally either absorb them, close them, or whatever they do with them. That there won't be mismanagement stories. It'll just be like, oh, pour one out for Bungie kind of thing. But I think this is a clear sign that either the gaming media is asleep at the wheel, or they are seriously afraid of Sony, curtailing their access or something. Because if this was Microsoft, like we already know from somebody like Keighley, oh, somebody leaves, oh, it's a story. But a studio closed, he's a ghost on social media. It's the same thing with even this. This is something that should have a lot of the fans of The Last of Us up in arms. Like, you were this close to getting a game that you were teased with artwork and voice actors, and nothing like 24 hours before you get the final, coup de grace to see it. And nobody's really on the Sony side of things really talking about like, oh, shucks. No, they're like, oh, great. They can go back to single player games. Good luck waiting 5 years for one. I don't know. I say it's stupid, but what do I know? I'm a fan of Xbox. Yes, I have a PlayStation. I used to be a PlayStation cat, but it's like, this is foolishness. And the gaming media is asleep at the wheel. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, and I'll agree with you. Somebody said it well in chat when it comes to covering this story from other media. That's a lot of what we heard. Crickets. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Yoshi, eat them crickets up. But so yeah, it's, I don't know. I just there was a lot of rakes that were stepped on that, and there's still. They have, oh goodness, it's got a super chat coming in. Hold on.
You get nothing. Goodbye. Take that. Take that.
That's right, Trump. P-Lump. P-Trump. That's what it is. That's it. But yeah, thank you, P-Lump. Appreciate that. It's I don't know. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. What they were trying to do. I get it, all those gas games, but then to be that close. And like you said, if they had put at least into some kind of beta or alpha to get it out, to get some kind of feedback and stuff going on that, maybe that could have generated some interest, or at least let them know, ooh, you're way off base and it is time to pull the plug. But to just not give it the chance that it needs. I mean, they had already done the factions online earlier, and obviously there was some good things there that made them want to make this new one, for the next gen type, and gas game type thing. And they had a lot of, thoughts and, things. Plus they had the TV series. I mean, there's all kinds of things that were in the works that were in its favor. And it was like, I wish I had that clip. I don't have it, Hargeet. I wish I had it. That one little clip. I can't think of the guy's name, but where's factions? Where's factions? He just, asked that question. And then like the very next fucking day, factions just canceled. Yeah. And then you got, is it JTAC going, oh, fuck. Another one of those classic lines. Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Dirt Griggity and Weebly Green for having those on cue and using them quite often because they're well deserved. But yeah, so it's, I don't know. I know a lot of chats kind of back and forth on it, the factions, Spider-Man, all that kind of stuff. It's things like that. That's like, it's a head scratcher. It really is. I mean, from a guy that's saying that, I don't know, sorry, Hargeet, you were saying something, but the Concord was going to be like the next Star Wars. What?
Yeah, they're a little off in their judgment, let's just say. Yeah. And look, they need to learn and adapt. That's fair, right? But like they went way too far, way too fast. Too many games at the same time without trying and understanding what that market can deliver. They did a little bit better with Marathon because Bungie knew how to do things, and that one is not in extremely bad shape, right? It is, at least they do have some players, right? And it's consistently running at that rate, which is still a far cry from what they've had with the other ones, right? And Helldivers has done awesome, mostly probably because Helldivers was a known thing and people wanted to play that, and they launched that correctly, day and date PC, and they also launched it on Xbox, which gave it a resurgence, right? It's just things that they need to think about when they're pushing for these new kinds of games. And I don't know. We'll see what they've learned and how they're going to move forward, right? But they still have fair games. Okay, we'll see. They have that Team LFG game, whatever the heck that's going to be.
Yeah, there's no super chat coming. So
Faction 2 sat on a wall. Faction 2 had a great fall.
All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put factions together again.
Excellent.
Kudos.
Very nice.
Kudos. Your creativity has no bounds, my friend.
That was awesome.
That was a great one. Holy shit. Yeah. That was
All
good.
right.
Yes.
Do we want to move on to the next thing? Or?
Yeah, we'll move on for sure. But one thing I did want to shout out to Game Adaptation Network because I don't have my. I don't know. I guess I didn't read it right, but he said clickers, and I thought
my
crickets. All right. Clickers being the
that
enemy
was
for
the
the
name
enemy,
I was think of for the zombies.
Yeah. So hey, we had fun anyway, right? So shout out to you. I'm an idiot, but
sorry.
No.
Yeah. So we could also talk about the other thing based on this kind of moving into the next thing. They shut down some studios and then they decided to buy an AI studio in PlayStation Land.
They did.
Okay.
They did. I do have that one as well. Let's see. Where's that article? Oh, here we go. I pull that up. But yeah, that's yeah. There was a couple of people that called that out. Give me just a second. Oh my God, there's so many things to bookmark. Hargeet, can you imagine? All right, I'm fine. I promise. I'm getting close. Maybe I know it's here. Shit. What am I looking for again? what am I looking for again? Just lost it.
It's the article on the new AI company.
Yes. Yeah.
PlayStation just.
All right. Let me get the bookmarks here real quick. Okay. Yep. All right. I don't know. Maybe it's the exhaustion it set in. I promise you I do have it. Let's see. AI. I have some articles about Nexus, new stuff about the new numbers for Marathon. We may have to pull those up. Pretty good live numbers here in a few more. They are abysmal. Yeah. Let's see here. Man, I need to break up into more folders because apparently I got I'm still going through the stuff for this past week that I've pinned and put in there. Holy shnikes. Jesus. Oh, Jesus, Mother of Joseph. Oh, look, there's the new Halo gear. All right, cool. Let's see. I got to be close to it. My God. Is that part? Oh, yeah, okay. That's 2 days ago. Topics. Hargeet, why don't you tell us what you know about your... And I'm going to get... Here it is. Woo! Thank goodness. I knew I had it. Let's bring this up. There you go.
All right, here we go. PlayStation has acquired another studio, Cinemmersive Labs. Founded in 2022, Cinemmersive Labs brings together a specialized team with deep expertise in computer vision and machine learning. Following the acquisition, the Cinemmersive Labs team will join SIE's visual computing group and contribute to our broader efforts in advancing state-of-the-art visual computing within games. This includes applying machine learning to enhance gameplay visuals, improve rendering techniques, and unblock new levels of visual fidelity for players. Cool.
Huh. Why?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Fuzzy, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, Fuzzy. What are your thoughts on this?
It's funny. They just got through closing a couple of studios and they pick up an AI studio. I'm just going to say it out loud. If Microsoft did something like that, gaming media would be looking at all the layoffs that they, did recently and be like, see, they wanted to get rid of all these people so they can replace them with AI.
Mm-hmm.
But, nothing's being said like that. But it's funny to me that they pick up this studio that's going to help with AI and things like that when you have a special effects studio that you closed that was supposed to do more so movies than games. And that was part of the reason why they did that whole deal with Epic for the Unreal Engine stuff. It was more so for movies, but everybody made a big to-do about, oh, well, they're part of Epic now, or they own part of Epic. Yeah, well, the whole reason why they did that is now closed. So is this AI thing to make more slop, or is it to, because nobody's talking about, when Sony has AI, it's slop. If it was Microsoft, oh, it's AI slop. But is it for them to make slop, or is it for them to have it work, for their pisser technology? Because you're supposed to use AI to do that up-res or rendering stuff. So is it to help with that, or is it to help with, the studios generating, stuff for the content for the games and stuff? So we'll see what it amounts to, but I don't know. It seems silly to me after closing Bluepoint, after closing what was it, Outlaw, and that guy that was head of Outlaw was like doomed because he was part of Deviant Studio or whatever the one, or Deviation, and they closed that, and then it's like, oh well, I'm gonna start up a new studio. Hey, we'll join with you, and then close it again. It's like
both times.
We'll see if this lasts 6 months from now. We'll see.
Yeah. If you want your business to go out of business or to close down, do a partnership with Sony. Sounds like the way to go right now. And why did they do it? Well, there's one reason why they did it.
Hello, I like money.
Yeah, they like money. Money. That's exactly what they like.
Money.
Yep. That's Sony. But yet, I don't know. I don't get it. But Microsoft is the
so
bad ones. Yes. Your thoughts?
Yeah. So look, I kind of understand what they're trying to do here. When we look at the comparison of the next gen hardware that's coming out and what capability sets are being delivered by AMD versus by the platform itself, it seems PlayStation is continuing the path of saying we're going to kind of do our own thing on top of some of the things AMD delivers, whereas Microsoft is staying standard. We're going to do FSR, whatever level they have. We'll do whatever capabilities they have. We will enhance their ability to do what we need to do, rather than stray on our own to do whatever rendering capabilities we need to do on the platform. So based on that, I'm going to guess this is going to help them with that, right? So this is going to be kind of the plug-in for their version. That think of it as Pisser 2, 3, 4, whatever version you want to call it. That's going to be coming with the PlayStation 6, assuming that's still a thing. I would expect that's why they're doing this, and that's going to kind of get baked into how they do their rendering pipelines. But like, again, it's open to like interpretation as to what this specifically means. I don't even know how big the acquisition is, but it seems like it's core tech that they're trying to look at to do AI upscaling, and it probably leverages some of that neural rendering type capability. And if that's the case, great. If that works out for them, Pisser took a while to kind of get to a point where it's more useful. They've kind of incorporated some of the FSR4 stuff, and now Pisser seems to be doing a good job. Again, going their own direction. I don't know how good or bad that will be. And if that rendering pipeline kind of does stuff for you, it's fine. If it's developer has to do stuff to make it work, it could be more of a headache, right? And so eventually, though, if they have enough consoles out there, that's going to be fine. However, we have to take into account the next consoles are probably going to be very, very expensive, and they're probably not going to be as prevalent. So you really want to kind of do standards, because it's going to be much easier for developers to then employ. If they have a sizable install base, though, it probably will work out. Again, I don't know what that threshold is. This is all like, interesting stuff that's happening in the future. There's going to be a lot of raw grunt available. So people might just say, to heck with all that. We're just going to use the raw grunt. This is the classic PS3 and Xbox 360 problem, right? Where 360 was a lot more standards based, it was open, and the PS3 had the whole cell processor, and it took a while for people to understand how to do that. It was extra work, and so the graphics just weren't there. The games would stutter. It was just not the same as it was on the 360. And you're going to have the same kind of thing here. Like, okay, we can employ. Now, thankfully, it's not that bad because it's not a cell processor. It's still x86, still AMD GPUs, right? So it's still going to be very close. It's just these extra features that really are bringing the next thing, right? And all these things can kind of become a problem. So we will see. This might work out fine, but I think that's what this is. It's just a guess. Oh, here we go. We got
Fuzzy, you played racing game Screamer.
Not yet.
All right.
I've downloaded it, but I haven't played it yet.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
I actually was curious about that. And let me know when you do play it. I want to know your feedback on it.
But I can kind of understand this again. If it's just in prep for PS6, fine, right? They're kind of making that stack now. They're kind of trying to figure out what that's going to look like as they finalize their hardware and software mix for PS6. So fair enough. So I think that's what this is. From an external view perspective, though, if you're a PlayStation fan, you have to kind of there are people who just buy a PlayStation to play games, right? And there are people who buy a PlayStation as a fan of PlayStation. If you're one of those that buys it because you're a fan, you have to ask yourself, what is it they're investing in? My games or other stuff? And that's kind of where they are right now. It's the other stuff. And that may be totally fine. And maybe you're happy with where they are. I wouldn't be, because this kind of feels like where we were with the Xbox One gen, where they shed all the studios and we're like Halo, Gears, and Forza and Minecraft. Okay, that's nice. Where's my other games? And that's kind of where they are right now in the PlayStation world, right? Now, do you want them to say, start investing in more games? They could go to third parties. They've been doing that. They go get these lockdowns. That's certainly one way to go. But you kind of want your first party stable to have actual games to give you, right? So again, if they show us all sorts of new things, great. Right now, I wouldn't be very happy if I was on that side of the aisle, just saying that you're buying this, but you're shutting down Bluepoint. Couldn't you have given them anything? There's any game to make. There's so much stuff in your backlog. They could have remastered. Nope. You just totally just shut them down. Okay. That's not the coolest, right? But I do understand this if it was just strategic. Hey, this is what we need to do to get our tech up to speed for PS6. Fair enough. That's fine. Right. It's just the optics of we're shutting down studios. And I don't think they're done shutting down their game studios. I think there's more to come. So it's just going to look worse and worse and worse. So, that's kind of sad. It is what it is, but it is kind of sad. But, hey, whatever. But yeah, hopefully this works out and they get the tech they need and they can create the PS6 rendering, stack, and it'll be good. But yeah, more fun.
Exactly. There was a comment I pulled up. I don't know if you're into read that. It was directed at you.
Judah roars, Hargeet, that's what I've been saying. You have to do something to be an option of hardware instead of PS being the default box. Yeah, this is kind of the discussion we had yesterday with C Money and Doodle, who have a different view of what competitiveness is versus me, where I think you need to actually be available to other countries. And so they need to have something out there. But anyways, whatever. That's a different interesting thing, but whatever.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to make sure that you saw that one. So yeah, it's I don't know. Is it a waste of money? We'll find out. We'll find out what they're actually going to do for them. We don't really know. A lot of us thought that Nexus was probably the best investment that Sony had made. Was converting a lot of those games to PC, because that's where they're making a lot of their money right now, is on PC. But for some reason, a lot of hardcore ponies are getting in their head that they're pulling away from PC. They don't want to make. How much did they make, Hargeet? Was it $2 billion?
Multiple billions, yeah, multiple billions.
Just last year alone, that they made from selling their games. But they don't.
That wasn't last year alone. I think that was over the aggregate of 3 years. When have they started the PC thing? It was 3 years ago, something like that. 4 years.
Okay. My apologies. So, but still, $3 billion. So you want to just not have that money coming in? I'm sure the shareholders would love to have that conversation with you. Why do you not want to put your stuff here? And so going to that, let's jump to this next little article. I'll let you read this part, and then we have some little evidence things to kind of look at, some breakdowns. This is basically, I'll let you read it, and we'll all learn together.
All right. It says, I warned you. Sony updates Nexus text on the official website, highlighting PC ports without any limitations on service games. Sony updates the PlayStation PC website with new and upcoming PC games and internal photos of major first-party titles. The FAQ at the bottom of the page not only does not deny future games are coming, but also leaves a stay tuned for updates. It's worth remembering that in recent days, the director of Saros dodged questions about the game's PC release. Ghost of Yote celebrated its 6-month anniversary this week.
TikTok.
TikTok.
And
Yeah.
like time's running out. So what do you see in these samples? Some of the changes. I think they're highlighted here.
Yeah, so Netherlands-based studio with engineering teams specialized in high-quality PC ports and art and design teams co-developing games with PlayStation studios worldwide.
Sure sounds like they're pulling out a PC to me.
All right, PlayStation games for PC, new and upcoming PC games. Explore PlayStation PC games and PC features and requirements. Now available and coming soon to PC.
Yeah. And what does that say at the bottom?
Explore a range of acclaimed titles from PlayStation Studios, now available to enjoy on PC via Steam and Epic Game Store.
Yeah, and what are they? What is this thing that they just announced? Like a couple of months ago, Hargeet. Wasn't it a brand new?
Wasn't there some controller thing for PC, and there was some speakers for PC, and then a monitor for PC? Like, well, there was all sorts of stuff, right? Like, they're definitely doing things on PC.
Yeah, and here's the last little bit.
What other games are coming to PC? Stay up to date on new announcements on PlayStation's X and Instagram, and check back here to learn more about new PlayStation Studios games coming to PC.
Yeah, and all that stuff that's available now on different links from the official affiliate sites for Sony. Yeah, well, interesting. So yeah. So Hargeet and Fuzzy. Fuzzy, we'll go to you first on this, and then we'll jump to Hargeet. I mean, does it make any sense for them to pull out of the PC business? And do you think it's happening?
I always question when these rumors happen. And yes, I know it was Schreier that said it. He doesn't always get things right. Yes, he gets behind the scenes stories sometimes, but it doesn't make sense to me, especially considering the PlayStation player base was already told they're not enough as far as the amount of money that needs to come in for the platform. That's the whole reason why they're going to PC. That's the whole reason why they're doing the games as a service. So they have that reoccurring revenue and to find other players. Like I love the quote from, remember the bad news day, I guess you could say, for the just 4 games kind of thing. Mm-hmm. One of the key things that Phil said was you could do one of two things. You could either monetize your current player base, or you can find an additional player base. The whole thing with spreading games everywhere was to find an additional player base. He was making or poking fun over at PlayStation by monetizing their existing player base. That's not only the $10 upcharges for the graphical updates, but what that one lady that even she made a recent published thing about how they can monetize their players. They're going to get them to spend more money. So raising the price that they did for the consoles, which I thought they were making a profit on the PS5 that people told me years ago. Why would you need to raise the price that much over that period of time? Yes, I understand tariffs. Yes, I understand cost of goods and certain things have gone up, but it's like, were they really making a profit, or was it just now that they're going to make a full profit to make extra money off of their players by monetizing or squeezing more dimes and nickels out of them every chance they get? So this whole thing, pulling it off a PC, makes no sense. Sure, they didn't get the, I guess, amount of money that they were hoping from the PC crowd, but when you wait 6 months to at a minimum 6 months, I think, for like Death Stranding, the first one was like about a 6 month period, I think. And there was one other one that was like in the 6 month to 8 month window. But most of the other games that they released on PC were at least 2 to 4 years old. You've already killed all the hype that it is for that game. The only people that are really hyped for that game are ones that don't have anything else to play. And when you're on PC, there's a limitless amount of games to play. So having a game that everybody hyped up 2-3 years ago, now it comes out on PlayStation, and it seems like they always try to get that full price, although they're not stupid enough to do a full 70. They do at least 60 because PC players aren't going to pay that $10 tax for, their foolishness kind of thing. So they're not pulling out a PC. I mean, sure, they may limit some of their single player games or do a bigger window, but I still think that makes the least amount of sense, to the point where at some point a day and date would make more sense. But I think some of this is leading them to doing their own PC launcher or app or whatever. And yes, I know there's a million launchers out there now, and most PC guys like Steam and they don't want to bother with any other launcher, but just about everybody has an Epic account to get the free games if they're not buying some of the exclusives like Alan Wake 2 or something like that over there. And then there's Ubisoft, where it's usually the best place to get all their games, especially if you do the subscription thing, because you get all the DLC and stuff. So it's like, I could see Sony doing something where they give you either free DLC or more skins, or maybe they allow you to double up on your trophies or something by replaying the games on PC. I doubt they'll do the dual entitlement like Xbox, but if they do, that I think might be the plan, where you get things day and date on their PC launcher, and then maybe 6 months to 2 years later it comes to Steam. But get rid of PC altogether? Nah, that's not happening. I especially with them. I knowingly know they have a PC app in the works. Yes, it's been stalled. We'll see how long they get some of the back end stuff figured out, but it's eventually going to happen as far as their app. But they're not doing away with PC, because they just released Death Stranding 2, which they published. Yes, it's a single player. It's not first party, but it's a single player game. So it's like, are they really going to pick and choose between single player that's first party versus, partnered second party or whatever you want to call it? I don't know. A lot of these ponies are on whatever salt or dust or smoke or whatever you want to call it. So we'll see what happens.
Pony myth. There you go. I agree. Fuzzy thing. Good comments. Hargeet, there's a couple of comments, and then Fonz is joined us in the chat, and he also made a couple of good comments we'll pull up as well.
Yeah, Mr. Xbot, this makes no sense at all. They would leave the PC market completely to MS Xbox. Their games cost hundreds of millions. They don't sell close to the numbers Nintendo does. It's just an absurd idea. Yeah. Do you have other ones? Let's see.
Yeah, there's the one from Fonz. There's that one.
Okay, we can do that. Yep, there we go.
I hit the button. My bad. Hit it twice. Sorry.
Fonz Gaming. Hey, Fonz. Mr. Xbox, I guess, is saying it. They're not leaving PC totally. Their live service will be there. Single player games were making them very little based on the staggering launches they were doing, and they refused to go day and date. I mean, they were making 300 million plus per year on those games, the ones specifically just their single player games. So I wouldn't say that that's insignificant amount, but okay, they have to square that with their shareholders. Fair enough. Oops, sorry. They had to do that because it's what Kojima wanted for Death Stranding 2. I'm guessing that's what you're referring to.
And that makes sense too. That does for sure, because we know Kojima is he's full.
Fonz, you're the one who gave me the numbers, I'm pretty sure. And so according to your numbers, it was $300 million. Your numbers. So
this is over 6 years, but still, I don't know. That's still
over 6 years. They haven't been doing PC games for 6 years. When did they start?
Yeah, I don't think it's been quite that long. Or he says on 6-bit. I don't. Either way, it's still that's a lot of money to just say we don't need it, especially if that's making money on it, not just costing you money. If it was obviously costing you money, then you Concord that shit. But but apparently it wasn't. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I personally don't think that that they're pulling out of PC. I really don't. It makes no sense. And I think a lot of it's just rumors and speculation, and people are running with it until there's actual proof. But we will see. We will see. This year's not over with yet. And we've heard a few things through the grapevine that there's some announcements that are going to be coming our way this year. So who knows what we might uncover this year. And like the new a CEO of Microsoft said, that's the plan until it's not. There we go. All right. Anything else you want to add to this, Hargeet? Any comments you want to make on the topic there?
So I look, the entirety of them deciding not to go for the 2 games, 1 game they have a year.
Right.
Okay. Fair enough. If that's not something you want to make money on, that's fine. Like, whatever. And to me, that is It's an absurdly stupid idea that that's somehow going to have people come to your console when we know for a fact that is not what sells the console.
Yep.
That's 100% bullshit. Because if that was the case, the Xbox One would have sold over PS4. That didn't happen. PS4 had jack shit when it started. Jack shit. It didn't matter. It doesn't matter. It all matters what the perceptions are, what people want to buy. Exclusives is an interesting theory, but I don't know, man. Like, they've had exclusives on both sides, and I don't see that being the thing that makes the determination. It might be if you're a main on one that you would buy the other console, but that's it. Outside of that, it's irrelevant. And I don't know how much of a console base is that, especially when you look at the rest of the world, right? Most of the world, you can't buy an Xbox. That's just not available. Okay. So if that's a problem for Xbox, right? So I don't quite see it the same way. Exclusives are an interesting thing. To me, people see the actual advertising and assume that's what the console is that has the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So I don't know that necessarily even matters. But for one game, like if it was me trying to make a decision on buying, I would not spend $1,000, because that's likely what the freaking PS6 is going to be, to play like 3 games from them in that generation. I can't justify that. $1,000 for 3 games. That's just stupid. And their games, to me, unfortunately, just aren't that good. I'm sorry, but they're not. I don't enjoy them nearly as much. Sorry, it's just the way it is. Their games are good for those who love it. You like Sad Dad Walking Simulators? Great. I just finished Ragnarok. It was good. Was it worth? Oh, I want to spend $1,400 or $1,200 or $1,000 on a console to play? Hell, freaking no.
All right.
No, it's not. Okay, and that's the reality of it. And so that's what they're trying to make as a value judgment. Good luck. I don't know how that's going to work out for the next gen. We will see. We will see. Right. So that might work as long as the games keep coming out on PS5. And people have an install base of that much. Great.
Yeah.
Right. And the cost for that's now $600 minimum if you wanted to get into that. I just don't see PS6 being very cheap. Don't think of a $300 PS6, $500 PS6. I don't think that's happening. So when your cost of entry is so high, good luck selling those games. So like that's going to be a thing for the next maybe 5-7 years. After that, they're going to switch. Right. At some point, they're going to say, you need to buy a PS6 to play this game. Good luck. Good luck with that. So we'll see. And again, it's onesie twosie games a year. That's it. All the games that are third party that they've locked down, those are coming day and date PC. Mm-hmm. All their live games, however many they have, they will also be coming to PC day and date, right? If not other platforms. So this is a decision they need to make on themselves to figure out what makes sense from a mix perspective. I don't know if that matters at all. In fact, I would be surprised if I said today they have no games. People wouldn't still just buy a PlayStation. If they had 0 first-party games, people would still just buy the PlayStation.
Yeah, to play
right?
Fortnite.
That's where they are. That's where they are, right? And so, like, I don't know that matters. So you have to be realistic about what that means. Like, everybody wants this stupid like exclusivity thing. I think that ship has sailed. I don't even care if PlayStation think that's going to somehow, oh my God, it's the most important thing. Okay, come on, go ahead, whatever. It's not. It's baloney.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be different if there was like a game a month or something, or 2 or 3, maybe 5 big titles a year or something. But 1 to maybe 2, and nobody is all super excited for Saros. That ain't happening. I mean, look at the pre-order chart. Starfield, anyone? Number 1 game on pre-order for PlayStation.
Doing their own game, releasing the same day. No, actually, I think Saros is the 28th or something like that, right? Is it 28th?
Yeah, I think somebody stepped out of somebody's way. Just saying. So yeah, but that was the thing for a while. That I thought it was going to be the same day, but even then, it's like I don't know. I mean, maybe it'll sell, but I mean, even was Returnal, which I bought it on PlayStation when it first came out because I wanted to have a couple of games to play, and it's a good game. When I got it was before they had the update. Where you had to start back at the very beginning when you died all over at the beginning, and I just quit playing and never have put it back in. So that kind of lost me on that one. But there's some people that do like it. But it's not a system seller by any means. Grand Theft Auto, that's going to sell systems, but it's going to sell Xboxes too, especially when you have an Xbox that comes out that's a couple $100 cheaper than the PlayStation. If all you want to do is play the next gen game and you want to play it at an affordable price, that's the place to play, is an Xbox, not a PlayStation. Just saying. Those are things to think about. But there was that one comment. I don't know if you saw that that Razer Ultron had put up. Did you see that one? I had it up here, and I cleared it off. It's a few back. It was actually pretty good comment from the comment about what the Sony one? Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So former Sony SIE executive Shuhei Yoshida described porting PlayStation first-party games to PC as almost like printing money. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, it was a quote from him from an interview. So yeah. So I mean, and like I said, even like you said, Jim, you said it earlier, Hargeet, that Jim Ryan had said, it's like PlayStation players themselves are not enough. And when you have a year before last, the game of the year was Astrobot, and it sold 1% of your entire quote unquote database, or your base
install base, yeah.
Install base. Yeah. I mean, that's not great.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, yeah. But hey, I mean, it's money. It's kind of like the PC. It's money. Just saying. Don't want to throw it away. I wouldn't anyway. Yep. So let's we got to start bottling the axe, as it were. We got to we'll narrow it down to some of these the bigger topics. But I do want to. Oh man, I can't believe I just did that. I'll hit the wrong button, Orgy. Give me 2 seconds to bring it right back up. That's also the wrong button. Look at me, noob. Fonz, I'm a noob. I'm hitting wrong buttons. Oh goodness, there we go. All right, we'll share that. We'll bring this up, because this actually covers a little things, kind of the gaming news this week. And I'll read this one so you won't have to. Let's see. So basically, what's the roundup for the week? Some big news was that the Xbox Game Showcase is 2026, and of course was going to be a special Gears of War E-Day direct on June 7th. And all of us are going to the event, and I'll be doing a show later on that night, like I did last year. Even though we'll be exhausted and everything, we'll do a wrap up show from the hotel room, probably, or maybe the lobby of the hotel. Who knows? But we'll definitely be doing a wrap up show that night for sure, because it's going to be some big things going on there. And I've heard little bits and pieces, not all the whole things, but from little bits and pieces to say that this is going to be the greatest showcase that they've ever created, and we will see. Let's see. So Stellar Blade developer shifts up the announcement of the acquisition of a new studio with Inbound. So I guess they're actually upping their game, as it were. And then Crimson Desert, a lot of people are really getting into that. Over 4 million copies have sold already, and it's out for less than 2 weeks. So that's really good. That's across all platforms. And then some good news is Pragmata has finally gone gold. So that should be coming out and on track to come out, I think, in a few weeks. So looking forward to that as well. But guys, with some of that, those topics thrown out there, let's go here to kind of a little. It's actually called a rumor. So we'll say that the Gears of War E-Day could actually be an exclusive. Now, what does that mean? Because Asha says she hears us. There's some things that they want to do different. Now, I'm thinking, and this is just me to get it out of the way, because I don't want to be throwing a lot of craziness in the air and not Mr. he's delusional, which I could be. That's for sure. But I'm thinking maybe maybe they put a big time delay on it, 6 months or a year. I think this would be something, we want it to be big, and it's better to be more places than not. But if it had a 6 month or a 3 month window before it came out to other platforms, I think that's a win for both the people that are the diehard Xbox players, because they're going to get a hold of it first. They're going to get it in Game Pass already. It's coming to Game Pass. And no matter what the rumors are about some changes to Game Pass, Right now, it's day and date, baby. So we'll see what happens, and that'd be a big step back and some rakes that have to go over, and a lot of refunding, I'm sure, if that changed. So I'm not thinking that's going to be changing, but maybe that's just me. So with that said, the big announcement, the big reveal, we're going to get some gameplay. We're going to get some in-depth look, probably 20 to 30 minutes of actual in-depth look at this game. Hargeet, what is your thoughts on this first? And are you excited about this? Oh, we have a thing coming through.
Happy to be the broke boy celebrates 13 months of membership. Hello all, watching while setting up new 5070T PC.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, so this is going to be the big direct. That's awesome. So we're going to get to see a lot of this. They'll hopefully give us a release date. Maybe they'll hold that up. So, and you might want to expect that, because I don't know if it's 100% guaranteed that GTA is coming out on November 19th. And so if that is like locked in, then in June, we will probably hear actual release dates to kind of work around that. But if there's any potential for slippage, they're going to like kind of leave things open. But let's assume we get to see a lot of what's going on with this. Usually the directs are pretty good to tell you the background and what's going on, and also what's going on, within the game. So I'm sure we'll see a trailer, and we'll see, the actual direct. So it'll be fun to see what's going on with it, hopefully with the release date and what they plan on doing. What I'm looking to see is, are they like changing kind of the tone? Are they going to kind of go back to a, more like suspenseful horror type thing, like where it was when you first. I remember that first like it was a big creature that you have to use the thing from space to kill, right? The beam from space, right? And you're like, you walk into a room and that thing like runs at you, and you're like, oh my god, and you like run away, and you're like, so like those kind of moments are really cool, right? That you have like these like moments that they create. So that kind of thing might happen again, right? This is like the beginning of the whole thing, right? It's emergence, and everything should be new to them. So we'll get to see how that goes, right? So fun times. I hope they do a good job with it and hopefully land it, right? So I'm sure the campaign will be a fun one. We'll also have to see what they do with the multiplayer. They haven't exactly been lighting it up on fire as far as multiplayer and getting good numbers, right? So maybe that's something they go tackle and try to come up with something different. And I assume there's multiplayer to this. I don't know if they've announced that there isn't. I'm pretty sure there is. So we'll see what they do with that, right? So, but yeah, lots of cool stuff here. It'd be interesting to actually watch it with everyone. We'll see it in June. It's coming up, by the way. It's not far away. It's a couple months.
It is getting so close. That is for sure. So, Fuzzy, your thoughts on the announcement, and your thoughts on this possibility of at least a temporary exclusive, if not full blown. What are your thoughts?
Whew. All right. So I always found it weird that there was no definite mention as far as Gears of War for other platforms outside of PC. We always assume PC because of the Xbox app and so forth. So we found out rather early on that Forza was going to be multi-platform, with it coming later. And I remember hearing whispers in the background from a few people from inside the building at Microsoft saying that Fable was delayed because they were going to do a day and date for PlayStation. So with those two titles from Playground having, mention of it coming to the other platform, I always thought it was weird that no such buzz was really pointed out or announced for that. They announced, Reloaded, and it didn't do as well as I guess they had hoped or what anybody really thought. It did in the low hundreds of thousands, like 300,000 or something. So I don't see the, as much interest on the platform now. Yes, granted it's an older title. Granted I don't think it was a full UE5. upgrade, kind of like the way Oblivion was, but maybe they're looking at the numbers, listening to the fan feedback, and like, you know what, we'll just not mention it for that platform as of yet and see how that goes. And we haven't made any previous commitments to it being on another platform. So I think they're just going to kind of go with the flow, because knowing Coalition, they may not have even bothered doing the groundwork, I guess, to port it. Yes, rumors were that early days of, I guess that was when Epic was doing Gears of War. There was a PlayStation version somewhere, but I kind of feel that if this ever does go to another platform, it'll probably be like one of those time things where it might be, I'm assuming more than 6 months, because you would think if they were going to have it go within that 6 month period, they would at least announce that it's going over there. But yeah, I think this is a year plus if it winds up being multi-platform. This might be the experiment, because like I said, Reloaded didn't do as well over there, as opposed to looking at how old Forza Horizon 5 was, and it did gangbusters over there. So they might just say, you know what, let this one stay with the brand. That would have more of a brand renewal effect, as opposed to putting it elsewhere where we might not see the numbers that we would like to see to make it worthwhile porting. So I think it stays on the platform as an exclusive until the plan changes, kind of thing. But I always thought it was weird that they didn't announce anything, or there was no real rumors or icons or anything like that shown in any of the trailers for Gears, because that, I'm pretty sure that was the case for Forza Horizon 5. They showed other icons, and for Fable, after the delay and when they did the update, that was a known thing as well. So we'll see. But I'm excited just for the fact that Showcase is right around the corner. That's going to be the I wouldn't say the after party, but the after show. And we'll get more in depth on it. But yeah, PlayStation players start, I wouldn't say pinching pennies, but start saving up for that Series S if you really want to play this, when it launches. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's pretty exciting for sure. Hargee, let's I'm just gonna, just so we can all be on the same page, as it were. I'm gonna bring up the trailer, the announcement trailer, and see if there's anything in there that maybe we missed, as to why everybody would be thinking that it's coming multi-platform or not. I'll get you fired up for it again, right? listed yet. Oh, sorry. That's too funny. That's too funny. Alrighty. So yeah. I don't know. I mean, and some people in the chat were making, some good comments that, don't be like them. And want, exclusives to, I get that. But there's a difference. I'm not necessarily advocating for a full blown, it's only on my box and not yours. But there's nothing wrong with pumping the brakes, to where, like a 6-month window, I think would be, more than fair, for somebody who has a PlayStation system. If they want to spend the full price and full money getting that game 6 months later, sure, let's do it. Let's get that money for the system and for the company, and they will continue to put money back into games and Game Pass and making out some great titles there. I can see that. I'm not necessarily for stopping it. We'll get another comment coming through.
Play that video. We need a PS fanboy cleanse.
All right, I'll play it in just a second. I don't know. I don't. Do you want to Reforge mad at me? Sorry. I had to laugh. So yeah. But with that said, I'll play it toward the end, guys. I promise. If you really want it, I'll keep it queued up there, and we'll play that because it's my ride or die. Anyway, but my thinking is that, and this is maybe just me, and we'll go around the horn and see what you guys think. But I'm thinking that, if it's a timed exclusive, it gives us the exclusive factor that some people were like really upset with, that Xbox let go, that Microsoft let go of, and then it's timed is still better than none. And I still think that like Steam games are probably going to be day and date. Why not? Because Steam PC, it doesn't affect the sales from the Xbox system, and I don't know. I don't know. There's even some people out there saying that, who knows, maybe the PlayStation 6 that they've been rumored to working on, who knows, maybe that's going to be one of the Xbox OEM boxes. Just saying. But anything's possible. Anything is possible. Anyway, so all right. So Fuzzy, your thoughts. I know I'm talking crazy over here, but chat's going to go nuts on me. Your thoughts on the exclusive factor. I mean, is it crazy? Should we just let it go? Should we just give up the ghost and give it all away, or is it something that's if she was trying to get back to the brand a little bit? What do you think?
I think this might be the test bed. I think if anything, like I said, given that Gears Reloaded didn't do as well over there, this would be the test bed. So that way, if sales on the Xbox platform as well as PC is sufficient, which I would have thought even like Horizon 5 was one of those where it was sufficient on the platform, but it did well over there. Since Gears didn't do as well over there for their older title, then it stays on its own platform. I think there is a possibility, because considering new management, the plan is the plan until it's not the plan.
Yep.
And a lot of things have kind of, I guess the buzz around the brand is come back to the sense where it feels like there's energy behind the brand. And if this is one of those things to kind of help rebuild the image of the brand, I think they're going to try it. And I think this will be the test.
Go.
Sorry. So you're fine. No, you're fine. You're fine. He said that Dave exclusive ship has sailed. # let it go. Well, Mac, it's maybe, but we shall see. We shall see. Like I said, timed exclusives, I don't think that's too far fetched, but we'll see. And Paris has some comments we'll talk about those in a second. Fuzzy, go ahead. Let's finish your point. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think this might be a test case, and if it goes better than planned, or it does generate enough buzz where maybe that does move hardware, then I think that will be the plan moving forward, and that will be the new plan. But we'll see. I think this might be one of those things. Let's test out leaving them in suspense. Don't tell them it's come to other platforms. Just put that as small print somewhere and upload it after it's released or something. Let's see if that works.
There you go. I agree with that. I like that idea. Hargeet, your thoughts, and then comment.
All right, let's read Paris's comment first. Paris says, "Sorry, Xbox, no Gears E Day for you. Your console is a PC, and welfare pass is done. Go get a PS5."
The slanderous one, Paris Lily. Shout out to you, Paris.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, I from my perspective, I could give a crap, but like from the general audience perspective, if that really matters, they can figure out those metrics to see if it's going to change anything, and if that is something they want to go after. Look, they've been doing exclusives on a timed basis anyway, right? Last year they had 4 or 5 or whatever that were timed exclusives, and they're releasing Starfield now after years, right? So they've been doing timed. Does that matter? I don't know. Like, to me, like games that have a multiplayer component, you're better off just putting it everywhere at the same time because it's better for the game, right? But if they want to go down this path and it somehow is beneficial to the brand or it's beneficial to the customer base, okay, they have the metrics, they can figure that out. I don't know what the answer to that is. What I don't want to see is, we've done that step and Game Pass is now no longer doing day and date, or Game Pass will now go to $70. Like, I don't care about any of that. Put your games on PlayStation all day. I'm all set. Like reduce the cost of Game Pass. Give me my day and dates. That's what I want. I don't care about all that crap. To me, it's irrelevant, right? So if people play it over there, good for them. If people play it on a Switch, good for them. I don't care. If you're playing on Steam or Epic, good for you. What I want is my games in Game Pass. That's what drives my consumer value. I have their console and I like their console. I like their ecosystem. It works for me. People who like the other ecosystems, good for you. So are they going to change this? Look, if it was the Phil and Sarah show, I'd say no, they're not going to change that. Everything's changed now. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen. We just hear how PlayStation wants to pull their games from PC. Why would you do that? Oh, we're just going to skip that money because of some fanboy bullshit. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, if they're going to say it, then why wouldn't Xbox say it? I don't know. I have no idea. To be honest, the whole thing sounds crazy to me. If you have money on the table and you say, no, you know what? I don't want that money. Who does that in business? Really? Like, you can do that as a private company, but these are shareholder-driven companies. Like, okay, fair enough. Square it away with your shareholders that you're going to give up money. Okay, fair enough. I don't know how that's going to work. Good for them. If they want to go do that, that's fair. Do whatever works. And, Satya can then, square that with Amy and the shareholders and figure it out, right? Not my problem. They can figure out what makes sense for them. Is this going to drive enthusiasm? Maybe. All right, let's wait for this.
MS, please have exclusives. GMS. Have multiplayer games everywhere. Look at how they sell on PS5. Forza and Sea of Thieves sold better because of multiplayer. We can't hide that.
True. Very true.
But then Gears would be in that category. So would Halo.
Yep. Well,
sorry.
I said this Halo. The other Halo they're working on. Yes.
Well, you say that, but like, would you say that Forza is a PvP against each other thing or more of a co-op thing?
Right. Well, there you go. That's a very good point. You're right.
And so Halo is a co-op multiplayer game.
Yeah.
But anyway, look, all of that. Okay, hold on.
Sorry, Sony. Your big gamble on Bungie was for a rotten bill of goods and management driving around in sports cars. Multiplayer releases is your future, unless you want to twerk on the streets for $1.
Yeah, go join Sean on the street corner. Oh,
damn.
sorry.
Yeah, look, so again, if they want to go down that path from Xbox's perspective, right, do this exclusive thing, I think it works for games that are smaller, right? If, like, for instance, South of Midnight, they didn't need to put that on PlayStation. We'll see how that gamble works out, right?
Right.
So that game maybe sells well. We'll see. I don't know what it's going to do for numbers on PlayStation. We've seen it with other smaller games where it didn't drive the numbers up that much, right? So you could say, all right, are they worth it? Maybe you just keep them exclusive or whatever you want to call it. Maybe timed is the way it is with things like South of Midnight. Come a year or two later, they go over there. Who cares, right? But like to me, I'm not really interested in that. Timed is fine if that makes people happy, whatever. But I think those live games, the multiplayer games, you're just better served by giving it to everybody at the same time. Like Helldivers would have been better having that game on Xbox day one. But whatever. At least they did it later. I think it just makes more sense. We got another one.
Sony this gen has survived on third-party deals. Take those away and sink that ship.
Ooh, well,
And recognition. I think brand recognition is the other one. It's just people see it and they know it. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, I don't know about like, whether it will be or won't be. It might even come out, like you said, WebDave, it'll be exclusive to start. And then in 3 months, 6 months, it'll, show up on the other side. Maybe in June, we hear about it, as being on Xbox and PC. And then in September, there's a PlayStation show that says, Gears E-Day coming spring of 2027 or whatever.
I'm cool
Who
with that.
knows, right? So like all that stuff is still viable. They did that with Indie, right? Before it even came out, they said it's going to be on PlayStation 6 months later, 4 months, 5 months later, or whatever, right? So they might just do the same thing. So we'll see. Again, as you said, the plan is the plan until it's not the plan, right? That's what we keep hearing. So
Not against Hargeet, but Gears Reloaded didn't dowel.
Correct.
Well.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right. It didn't do well.
Yep. And I expect, by the way, Halo going there, I don't think that's going to do well there either. I don't think it's going to do well on Xbox either. I think it's like people on Game Pass will just play it. And I don't know how much it's going to really sell. It's a game that people have played way back since this thing started. So I don't know how many people are going to get pulled in to want to play that game again, to go buy it. I think there's going to be a lot of people who will just play the new missions, right? I'm definitely going to do that. There's new missions. I'm interested in that. And then it'll be like, okay, well, the other one, I don't know if I really have time for the whole campaign. We'll see. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Like, good luck to them.
Yep, for real. I agree with that 100%. And it's just one of those things where it's like, either way, we're winning because the game's coming out and we're going to get it in Game Pass and it's going to be day one. So win-win for people who have Game Pass. Oh, here's another one.
How do we think Sony does third-party deals next gen?
Next gen? Yeah, I don't.
Next gen?
Yeah, I don't really know. Interesting thought.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't Shuhei kind of on running that? Maybe they have somebody else doing that now. I don't know. It's a good question. I'm not sure what happens with that. There might be a fall off, right? They have a lot of stuff in the works. They have those hero projects with various countries. So does Microsoft, by the way. They've announced things with Asia and Africa as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing. I like seeing those kind of projects greenlit. That's cool. But yeah, I don't know if that falls off or they continue down that path. It will be interesting to say if it's going to be PS6 exclusive. I think that's going to be a no-go. I think people will want the PS5 because of the install base.
Right.
That's going to last for a while. It's going to be very hard to justify saying you can't run on a PS5 because that's a pretty powerful machine and it's going to be pretty powerful for a while. So I think they're going to have to keep putting it on 5, and that 100 million plus is going to be very, very tempting for a lot of people. So I think that's kind of how it'll keep going if they even do a lockdown. And I think from now on, if they do, PC is guaranteed to happen day and date as much as possible.
Yep.
I don't think they're going to be stopping that anymore. So.
Well, yeah, that's for sure. We'll see. So now we're going to switch gears. And I don't know if he's still in the chat or not. Paris Lily actually had a really good post the other day, and we're actually going to put that up now because I know he can't talk about it yet, but we're all of us are anticipating April 8th. So let's get into it. And I know Fuzzy is the race car enthusiastic. I even bought you that racing game. Did you ever get a chance to play that? I don't know if it was any good or not. That one racing game I got you. Was it a motorcycle game?
For Ride 6 or no Ride 5? Yeah, it's a little bit trickier going from car to motorcycle. But yeah, it's a ton of fun.
Cool.
Really good graphics on it. Visuals are great, but I'm not the greatest on a motorcycle. But then again, I've never ridden a motorcycle myself in real life. Every time I was tempted to do it, something would happen to a friend or a family member on a bike, and I was like, yeah, I'm probably not going to do that. So.
You see that? Yeah, I've owned a couple of bikes in my life, and they were a lot of fun. But to me, they were just for hobby fun, not my daily transportation. So, but still fun if you can if you can get the muster up to get one of those. But let's talk about this. So Hargey, let's read what Paris had to say in his post that's got us all pretty excited.
Sure. Paris says, spent the weekend playing a digital preview of Forza Horizon 6. Look for my impressions on April 8th at 6 a.m. Pacific time.
I can't wait for this. I can't wait. So let's say, all right. So what are your thoughts on this after hearing this, Fuzzy? What are your thoughts, and how more excited are you now?
Well, I'm so glad that we got some community members that are going to give this a go and give us some of their insight on it, next week and stuff. Kind of jelly as far as not being part of it, but I totally understand why. But like, I think the big thing now is with them having people testing it out this far. It's about a month or so out in comparison to its release, but they're pretty confident in what they have. They already showed some of the gameplay on IGN. They're going to have people probably put through its paces over these next few days. And when they give their thoughts as far as what they've been able to get through, I think we'll have a solid, feedback as far as what is improved in this game over 5. Because I have a feeling it's going to be instantly noticeable, more so with the cars and the environment and things along those lines. But I sense more confidence in this release than what we saw with Forza Horizon 5. While I still enjoy Forza Horizon 5, it did had some a little annoying bugs at its release. But other than I think they did a demo prior, and even that demo was not as, I guess you could say, refined or optimized in comparison. But that's, after post-COVID or whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm excited to see, especially after hearing that one of the things I was really hoping that they would kind of focus or mix into this game, which is like a no hesi mode. If they do this right, this game is going to live forever as far as whether it's PC mods on PC or just people constantly playing different modes, because drifting is going to be a big thing. The environment, I mean, the best way to look at this, it's going to be pretty hard for Forza Horizon 7 to convince people to stop playing 6, I think, unless they go to Germany with the Autobahn, or maybe a real popular city in the US or something. I don't know if there's another location that can really top the excitement and the car culture enthusiasm that's going to be in this title. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to what people have to say next week as far as their hands-on with this. I'm already excited for May 15th. So I can't wait. Already got the pre-order and everything in. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the feedback as well as, just playing the game itself.
Me too. And I get that extended bundle thing where you get the 2 expansions already included in it, so, and the extra cars and stuff. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Plus, I mean, you'll be able to jump online and play with your friends, race with your friends, race against times and stuff. I'm sure I'll be chasing your ghost a lot. I'm in Fuzzy's rearview mirror quite often. That's okay. That's all right. But so I know you're excited about it, but what do you hope? Any insight that you're hoping Paris is able to share? Is there any certain thing that you're like, I hope he talks about this or what?
I would like to hear some of his feedback on like the highway racing. If he's able to do online racing with like other reviewers and things like that, see if you can do like a head-to-head on the highway. Like you can normally do head-to-heads anywhere in the map, but the way the highway system, from the little bit that they've shown and what I'm assuming that they'll have in the game, that highway system is going to be, I wouldn't say to die for, but it's going to be real fun for anybody that was a big fan of like the Need for Speed, like Underground and even Unbound, or I think that was the last one they did, and a lot of the other ones where highway racing was like, peak as far as that's concerned. So I'd love to see his feedback on that, as well as the seasonal changes. If they go through enough of the season stuff, I know that there's going to be a lot of snow in the mountains, but I'd be curious to see if the city gets hit sometimes with the snow and how that affects the drifting. Because I mean, drifting is going to be fun in the cars, but drifting in the snow with the SUVs, because they already got like the Land Cruiser on the cover. I'd like to see if that's going to be as fun as I think it would be, because I've taken my Jeep in snowstorms and stuff like that, and drifting it, although not on the roads, don't want to do that, but in clear parking lots, it's always fun doing donuts and stuff like that. Just stay away from the light posts, because I've seen some people mess up their vehicles doing that. But
or trees,
drifting in snow and highway racing, I think those are the two things that are going to probably be the most repeatable fun outside of some of the events and things like that.
Yeah, I do hope it has a Tokyo Drift aspect to it, like, because I love Tokyo Extreme Racing, loved that game, played the hell out of that thing, and just it was so much fun. I believe from what we're hearing that those kind of elements are in there, so let's hope so. And I like I said, I hope that a lot of the Forza 5 elements are still there. And the bonus stuff, I'm all for them, continuing to bring back the Hot Wheels type thing. Those are kind of cool. But what else could they do? And supposedly this, the make your own, your I guess you build your dynasty with your cars and your car collection. You're able to have your friends come over, check out your collection, walk around them and check them out. Not just here's a picture of my garage. Here's a picture of what cars I have. Kind of thing. So you like that comment? Fuzzy's ghost, it's gonna get you. Exactly. Who are you gonna call? Fuzzy Busters. Anyway, so yeah. Good. Again, thank you, Fuzzy, for comments on that. And I for one, I'm looking forward to your personal review when it actually does come out, because I know after you get your hands on it for a while and you get in there and we get messy with it, have a little fun, you'll be able to, because I mean, you were able to get into the building of the cars to trick them out and to what works, what doesn't, where you need to focus your efforts into, I guess, to make the better machine, to make it a better. And you've been doing this for a long time. You've worked in the automotive industry in some form or another for a long time, so it's not just a game for you. It's more of a an investment in a livelihood that you were into. So again, I do appreciate your insight on it, and I'm looking forward to your review personally. Seriously, looking forward to that. I think everybody should make sure they subscribe to your channel, by God, and they can do so below, because your link's in the description, along with Hargeet's and mine. Yay! All right, so Hargeet, your thoughts on this, and are you looking forward to Paris's preview?
Yeah. I'll definitely take a look at what people are saying about it. I'm sure, hopefully, we'll be very good, right? I mean, this is like the one that everybody wanted, Japan, right? So I hope they do a good job with it. Hopefully, it lands. So we'll see. This is still, is it May when it comes out? I think it's coming up in a month or two or something like that, right? So
May, right?
yeah, it's right around the corner. We'll see what they say about it. Like, for me, I'm not a racing person. I don't like the sim games at all. I like Forza Horizon because it's more fun to just tool around. So I generally play these. I'll put my 20-ish hours in here and have fun with it. So it'll hopefully be a fun, romp around Tokyo or wherever else they're going to be in Japan, right? So but yeah, this is the first of 2 games this year from a really good studio.
Yep.
I'm really looking forward to the other one, though. That's the one I really want. It's my fable. I can't wait for that. I'll get more information on what's going on there. We'll hopefully get a release date sometime this year to get Fable out. But yeah, so this will be fun for me. But I'm much more into the other one they're making, so I'll be looking forward to that. But yes, I'll absolutely check out the previews from several of our content creator friends around the community. Are looking at this game already, and we'll get to hear their opinions about it and see what we get, right? So yeah, it'll be fun.
There you go. Yeah,
hopefully Paris is having fun. Hopefully the others are having fun. Maybe you can put eyes in the chat, Paris, if you're enjoying it so far.
Yeah. If he's still in the chat, we also, and of course he maybe just be mum's the word throw away the key, holding the thing. And I didn't get that. Trust me.
Yeah.
He's a lot of respect for Paris. And like I said, if you want to find out about it, make sure you guys are following Paris. He'll have his video review up. We've been on here several times in the past, and hopefully we'll have him on again in the future. Like I said, well respected, a member of the community, and a good guy too. Whether people like it or not, he's a good guy, and he does like to talk that shit. I'll say that. I'm digging that as well. So there was some comments there. King, you want to read what the King Web had to say?
Sure. King Web, give them live service games, make PlayStation replica games like MotorStorm, Resistance, Twisted Metal, and Blur. So that'd be the Xbox side, you mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like. I don't know. We have those, right? So, I don't know what Retro One Unit. Hope they implement proper race wheel support. Horizon 5 lackluster on my Fanatec wheel. Is that how you say that one? Yeah, I mean, I hope they do that. That'd be good. I don't know if that was on console or on PC, but yeah, hopefully they fix all those kind of capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
Race wheel is a very important thing if you're really into racing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, having that all work correctly is important. So,
Fuzzy, do you use a racing wheel?
For Horizon, not always, but I do have my Logitech. I believe that's the G92, if I'm not mistaken. I'm considering doing, and to make a long story short, I was considering doing like the not the force feedback, because that's force feedback. It's the nanometer deal where it's more of a direct feed. The drawback is I wanted to get one that I can use on PC and PlayStation and Xbox. And the best thing I could figure out is if I'd go Fanatec or any of the higher end custom ones, I would have to get the base with the new direct feedback or direct steering. I forget the name of it now, and then change out the steering wheel each time between games. I mean, it would mainly be the Xbox steering wheel I would use for both PC and Xbox, but when I do play GT7, I'd have to reconnect it to the PlayStation and then change the wheel. But even that's not a guarantee, because for whatever reason, none of these wheel companies want to make a universal one. And I'm not spending $1,000 on 2 wheels, one for the PlayStation, which I would not spend $1,000 to play one game. But I do play Assetto Corsa Evo, Tokyo Extreme Racer, and a few others on Xbox and PC. So I eventually I'll get that direct deal for PC and Xbox, and either sell off or retire my Logitech.
There you go.
Yeah, so there's a reason that happens, by the way, and that's because if it's a device that's going to run on Xbox, it's a certified Xbox device. Every one of those that sells, they have money coming in, so it's a revenue share, and they wouldn't want to share that revenue if it's for a PlayStation or a PC. So they tend to not do that. They have a specific Xbox SKU. I don't believe PlayStation has the same. So the PlayStation model can work on anything without a revenue share. So that's why that usually happens. So you see kind of a schism between them. Some just eat it, right? So for instance, I have the headset I use. The heck's the company? Not relevant, but they connect to PlayStation and Xbox and PC. And they take the hit. They just go ahead and take the hit. And there's a revenue share that's going to go to Xbox, even if that thing never connects to an Xbox. Right. So that's kind of the way that works. So, for any one of those devices, so like your wheel, unfortunately, if it is for Xbox, they're sending money over. And I'm sure they're like, we don't want to send money over if it's for PlayStation. So like, that's probably what it's just the calculus of like money. That's really it. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's good information. I didn't know that. That's crazy. So we kind of have, I guess, a couple of quick last topics. I mean, we already kind of talked about E-Day, our thoughts on it. Excited that it's going to be, wrapping up the showcase. The showcase is going to be big, June showcase. We're all going to be there, along with a bunch of other members of the community. Going to be there. Paris is going to be there. Let's see. I know that there's a possibility that even Dirk Griggity might make it this year. Ooh, I've heard some rumors he's working on trying to get there. That would be awesome to have Dirk in the building for sure. But but I mean, Fonz was there last year. Hopefully, he'll be there again this year. There's so many great members of the community that are going to be there. I know that. Let's see, Mr. Boomstick's going to be there. Let's see, the Iron Lords are all going to be there. King and all the crew are going to be there. In fact, one of the Iron Lords is going to be bunking with me. That'll be cool. Chris is going to be hanging with me, so that's cool. He does a lot for their website and stuff. He's one of the writers and stuff, and it's going to be cool. And there's just going to be a lot of great members of the community that are going to be there. Hopefully, Holly's going to get the chance to make it out again. What was that one? What was that one, Hargey? Read that one.
Why so serious? Forza Horizon 6, not enough traffic. 7 out of 10.
Oh wow! Oh, that's hilarious. Hilarious.
Anyways, Astro A50. That was the headset. Totally lost.
Yeah.
But Astro A50 is what I have. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. So I guess Hargeet to bring it back, last year you and Ben and some other great members of the Sean Labrie and other great members of the community, they decided that last year that they weren't going to do the FanFest, which a lot of us were disappointed. So last year there was the community party, which was awesome. Let me bring it up real big there for a second. So the community one, which was pretty awesome. And that was great. I used to got my community coin over there as well. Yep. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, there we go.
You can see that.
Yep, that was great. A great time last year. And one of the things that Asha decided that she's going to do is that she's bringing it back. She's bringing things back. And this is actually from her actual from her X account. I'll let you read what she had to say, and we'll go from there.
The energy from fans in response to Xbox Fan Fest coming back to LA has been incredible. We're expanding to 7 more cities this year so we can celebrate with more of you. We can't wait to see you out there. And then it lists all of them in Cologne, London, LA, Mexico City, Seattle, Sydney, Tokyo, and Toronto.
FanFest is back, and it's the official FanFest, which last year's was really good because we got Greenie was there, Aaron Greenberg came to ours and hung out. Paris Lilly did a panel, which was fantastic, and then of course we got the man that actually makes the Xbox. Oh my God, I can't think of his name. What is his name?
Ronald. Jason Ronald.
Yeah, Jason Ronald. All right, my brain tired, very tired. But yes, Jason Ronald was there. Oh yeah, there's a good picture of that. Let's see here. Boom, that one up there. Oh yeah. Some other great members of the community that were there last year. Like it, Lemon and Hip Hop Gamer were there. Got to hang out with those guys. So yeah, you get it's amazing members of the community. There's C Money was there hanging out with us.
There's a picture of somebody in the background there.
That was me, the old guy in the back. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
we got Jason and we got Aaron, right?
Yeah. It was great time, man. Great time had by all last year. But so this year it's back. And you were at like the one from a couple years ago, where they originally announced some of the stuff, and your Gears of War video went viral. It blew up big. Only like 80,000 views or more. So it was a lot. It was a lot of views. And kudos to you because it was good. The reaction was crazy in the building. It was electric. Of course, we watched the trailer earlier. All of us did, and that was exciting. Very, very exciting. So yeah, but yeah, I just can't even imagine what it's going to be like this year because not only the FanFest, but it even says it right below where it says Xbox FanFest Tour. What is that? What's in green, Hargey? What does it say right there? Can you read that?
What Xbox 25, right? The 25th anniversary,
Xbox
and then events
25.
in 2026.
Xbox
right,
25. So this is the 25th anniversary of Xbox. You're telling me that we're gonna all get together as FanFest, and they're not gonna be like, woohoo, boom, baby. It's gonna be off the hook. And a big shout out to Ben. Ben is an amazing contributor in the community, and he had done a lot of great things. It designs those coins, which are awesome. I got a bunch of them back here on my desk, and including the special edition one for last year's FanFest that he did, which was cool. Yeah, so a lot of stuff that it was really cool. But he was nice enough to actually, I guess, so he reached out to Microsoft, and Microsoft was obviously grateful that they put on, you guys, including Hargeet, was a big part of putting on the event last year, you know, from actual fans that wanted to keep it up so much that you guys actually took the time, you know, to do it yourself, set up, got the venue, got everything going. Hargeet ran the audio video portion of the show. It was awesome. It was big, huge screen projector with I mean, it was very well done. Sounded great. All of us got to hang out and there, have a great time. And like I said, I got to hang out with Jason and them and really get to talk. It was really, really cool. And Ben actually, he reached out to us the other day, and Hargeet let me know this, that I thought it was so nice of him to do, that he spoke to Microsoft, and everybody that attended the personal FanFest, the actually fan-inspired FanFest last year, has been personally invited, and Ben is making that happen for us. So we're automatically having to able to get in without having to get in the queue. But if you're interested in getting in, you're interested in trying to get to any of these events, make sure which country you're there for, because now the one that's open right now is the one that's coming up in June, which is a June showcase, and that's for American. You have to be in America only. They do not pay for your hotel room. They do not pay for your travel expense to get there. So if you can make it to LA, sign up for it. If you can't, then you know, don't bog down the system with something if you really can't do it. But if you're interested in getting there, if you really think you can make it, do it. And apparently these other locations, these other events that are going to happen, they're not on the same day. These are actually going to be different events spread out throughout the year. So that's going to be cool. So they're going to be doing events in Cologne, London, Mexico City, Seattle, Sydney, Tokyo, and Toronto. So spread the love. Some people are asking for one in New York. I don't know if I'd want to be anywhere near New York right now, but with the cost of everything, plus pretty crazy there with some of the activities going on. But digress, not to be any politicking going on by any means. But still, there's still plenty of places that are close enough to go to check that out. That I think if you're really interested in it, stay tuned on that to find out. Hargeet, what are your thoughts about FanFest? And are you, like me, super freaking excited?
Yeah, I mean, it should be good. The June showcase thing is almost always going to be LA because everything else is there.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to kind of unfortunately do everything there. So like for those who want it somewhere else, it wouldn't happen. For the other ones, they're going to be the major showcases that happen, right? So Cologne is obviously summer. You know, the what does he call it? The opening night live. They'll have their stuff afterwards as part of the Gamescom thing in the summertime in August, usually. I don't know what's London's thing, but I think they actually do have something in London. Seattle's going to be in November. It's going to be the 25th anniversary. They're going to do that big celebration there at that FanFest. Tokyo's Tokyo Game Show. Sydney, it might be like one of the PAX things that happen out there, but they might have something else in mind. I'm not sure. Mexico City usually has their own, and it's because there's a huge Xbox fan base in Mexico, so they actually can just do that anytime. They'll probably set that up sometime over the year, maybe let's assume somewhere like September or something like that. But yeah, and then we have Toronto. I'm not sure what's the Toronto one. I actually don't know what's going on there. But you know, but that's kind of what these are. They're basically looking at equivalent, you know, showcases or whatever that's happening, right? Other major things that are happening, and then they'll just kind of latch on with a fan fest there. But then specific ones for certain areas. And Seattle definitely is going to be. I'm pretty sure that'll be the 25th anniversary celebration on the 15th of November. I think that's what it is. So it just happens to fall on a Sunday, right? Something like that. So which happens to be usually the time when they do these fan fests anyway. So yeah. That's what I think. It's going to be great. I hope it'll be a lot of fun. You
Yep.
It was
usually
quite a
flag
production
too.
to have to do that last year ourselves.
Oh, it was.
And
You got kudos to you.
and shout out to Aaron for working that. We're hopefully all going to be there, and we'll start working the particulars on that as soon as we can. But we're waiting for everything to kind of settle. I think they finalize everything on the 15th as far as what people are going to be getting in from the 50 people lottery. So we'll probably be talking to people after that. So yeah, so stay tuned.
Yep. It's pretty exciting. Very, 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 very exciting. Fuzzy, this will be your first in-person FanFest.
No, it'll be my second. I went at the one that was that probably should have been canceled because it wasn't like previous FanFest, and that was in 2022.
Oh, okay.
When they just like they did the out of well, not out of person, but the one where it was the movie theater stuff in 21, I think, and then 22 was when they finally went back into person, or it had it as an in-person type of deal, and it was pretty cool. The gift bag was a little on the light side, but it was still a pretty cool event. Got to play some stuff a little early. Well, not a lot of stuff, but it was like a couple of games that were releasing later that year. We got to see and play, and I think they had the group from Redfall there. They had I can't remember if Todd was there, but I know they were having it where you could take pictures with like a Starfield background and stuff, because that was just before those games were. I think Redfall was still on schedule. Starfield had got its delay notice, but it was a pretty cool event. Always fun seeing other Xbox fans in person and stuff. I know Paris was there. He probably doesn't remember me from then, but yeah, there was it felt like it was a smaller event, but it was just them kind of getting back to things in comparison to what I've seen prior to 2020. The events seemed like they were more like a wild party. This was a little more tame, I guess you could say, but stayed at the hotel, learned the hard way. Don't rent a car, although I'm driving this time. Don't park at try not to go to the same hotel that Microsoft stays at. It is a bit pricier, but I had points with that. I forget what chain that is now, but
Marriott.
Stayed in their same hotel and everything. But that it was a good experience. But yes, LA is a lot more expensive than out my way, but it was manageable. It was still a fun time. But yeah, this one I'm really looking forward to. Good
deal. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person and hanging out, man. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be good. And I am staying across the street at the little more reasonably priced hotel for me, but it's still actually it's super close. It's literally like a 2-minute walk, and you're there at the Marriott. So really cool. So and like I said, got to meet Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond last year, just hanging out in the lobby. It was so cool. Hopefully we'll get to do that again this year with whoever's there. Hopefully Asha will be available. We will see. And gonna be enjoying it either way. Guys, is there anything else we want to touch on? I mean, there's still probably some more topics, but we've been on this for like 2.5 hours, and I don't want to burn you guys out because I'm sure we're gonna have some big stuff to talk about next week as well too, because we're gonna have a kind of the breakdown of the racing game next week, and a few other things that I know that are gonna be happening next week. So we'll get into those as they happen closer to the week. So yeah, pretty exciting. I guess we'll just go ahead and wrap it up, Hargeet. Does that sound like a good idea to you?
Yeah, the only other item we had, I think, was the State of Decay 3 stuff, but we can probably hold that for a week.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think. I know I have some stuff on it. I don't actually anything at the moment pulled up, but I know it's like I've got it in the queue. But yeah, we'll hold on to that next week because we know that's the beta test is coming up. The alpha test, excuse me, is coming up. Make sure you get online, sign up for that. They're still taking that. And even if you don't get into the first round, they said that there's more rounds coming. So you definitely want to check that out. So make sure that you're able to at least sign up for it, because that would be great if everybody gets in, because the more people get in, the heavier the stress is on it, the better game it's going to be in the long run. And from what we're hearing, people that have actually played the pre-alpha, as it were, I've heard that it's quite intriguing, and that some of the changes that they've made to the overall system of the game has made it a lot of fun. There's even rumor that some people have played it and they're like, after they get done with their testing, this is a pre-version, they're having withdrawals to play it, continue to play. So 4-player co-op. Oh, Hargeet, that sounds like that's right up our alley, doesn't it? I'm excited. All right, let's go around the horn. Guys, we'll get this off the screen and we'll head out there. So let's start with our guest, Fuzzy Belvedere. Please tell everybody where they can reach out to find you, and of course, all the shows you're on right now.
Well, as always, I love talking games with you guys. Just love talking about the industry and all the stuff that we got to look forward to. The FanFest right around the corner. Some awesome games dropping. One particular one in May. Some news about all that stuff coming around here soon. So always love hanging out with you guys. Thanks for the invite. Love everything with the interaction with the chat. Thank you guys for being kind to me and just interacting and talking about some of the stuff that we had as far as topics. Always awesome hanging out with you guys. But if you want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just do a search for Fuzzy Belvedere on any of the social media platforms. And if you're into horror, look for a podcast on YouTube called Fright Night with Ferocious Fee every Friday night at 6 p.m. We kind of missed this show because of all the stuff we were doing with the filming. We will have a show next week for a kind of a gaming related movie called Stay Alive. And check that out Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next week. Hope to see you guys there. Thanks again.
Thanks again, Fuzzy. We really appreciate you being on, and always love having you on, sir. Like I said, very well versed in all gaming, and always enjoy your takes. So, sir, thanks again for being here. Really appreciate your time. It's awesome to have you on, and of course, my cohort, the wild man himself. Man, you don't want to make mad. I'm just kidding. Look at that thumbnail. I was aggression in that with the chainsaw. That's so awesome. I was like, he's such a nice guy. How can he be like that? But yeah. Don't watch out for the dark side of Hargeet. That's it. Was that somebody called him a Dark Hargeet one day? Darth Hargeet. Yeah, that's it. That's funny. Anyway, so but Hargeet, please tell everybody where they can reach out to you, where they can find you. And I'm going to
sound for that. I might.
What now? Excellent.
Anyway,
yes. There is your link to your YouTube channel up there if anybody want to hold up their phone and get that. But go ahead, Hargeet. Tell them where they can reach out to you.
Yeah, sure. So my channel is Hargeet Chani 1. If you want to subscribe, my merch channel, shop.chani.us. You can pick up if you want. I have these nice little new things that make Xbox not dead again and make Xbox great again. You pick those up if you like. I'll be on with Fonz on Tuesday at 7 p.m. US Eastern Time. Fonz Gaming, and then with Boom on Wednesday at 7 p.m. US Eastern Time. Double Barrel Gaming. And see Many Doodle on Point for Gamers on Friday at 8 p.m. US Eastern Time. We'll be back here and we'll talk about what's going on next week with all sorts of fun on Sunday.
We will. Thanks to everybody for joining us. And we really appreciate each and every one of you who joined us. And if you're watching later, thanks again for watching either watching or listening on iTunes, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, wherever you get your audio. We appreciate you listening there. And again, thanks to our guests and panel tonight. A lot of great fun. It's always good to have everybody here. And the show would not be the show without our community. And we definitely appreciate each and every one of you all for being here. And like I said, it doesn't work without you. So just know that we definitely appreciate you being here. And with that said, I'll play this a nice little comment from the one and only Mr. Dirk Griggity.
If you like this video, please hit the like button.
Y'all have a great night. Happy Easter, everybody. See you next week.
over. Let's ride! You boys ready for a great raid?